Welcome to the fantasy audiobook, Naruto, Super System World Picking Attributes. Chapter 81. After half a day, Shubai also arrived in Taki no Kuni through Fei Lei Shen. After arriving here, Shubai discovered a strange thing, that is, the original Taki no Kuni people, but now none of them are seen. Even Ling has disappeared here. Of course, it is also possible that they hide it by what ability. But this is unlikely, because even the merchants on the street are gone. In other words, these guys either left here or were killed. You know, Beidou and the others are here. With their abilities, it is not too simple to let a village or a force disappear directly. Fei Duan, you can go. By the way, if you can't figure it out someday, you can still find me. By the way, I will come to you when I can't figure it out. Shubai said directly after contacting the restrictions on Fei Duan. He returned the sickle in his hand to Fei Duan. After hearing Shubai's words, Fei Duan's mouth twitched. Even though he wanted to let go of harsh words, Fei Duan still chose to give up when he was madly beaten up before, and then left directly. Just after Fei Duan left, Shubai also discovered a powerful energy fluctuation. Since it's here, there is no need to hide. I have already followed your instructions. If Minako is in your hands, give it back to me now. Shubai also said slowly. Just after Shubai's voice fell, Beidou and a woman appeared in front of him. Beidou, Qingshan, Shubai also said puzzledly. Actually, I admire you very much. I have investigated you and your life is very weird. Before the age of 15, you were like a trash, but one day, suddenly you rose. And, the growth rate is terrible. I think if you give you time, maybe even if God comes, you will be slaughtered. So I decided to solve you when you were not my opponent. Beidou said. He also pulled out his own village. I'm here to see what it is like to be praised by Beidou. I will not participate in the battle between the two of you. Qing Zan said, but also retreated directly. After listening to the two of them, Shubai still had no expression on his face. Because now in Shubai's heart, the Beidou in front of him is already a dead person. It's easy to kill me. But you alone are not qualified to kill me. Because your sword is my sword. As Shubai said, Kunjung, who was originally in Beidou's hands, also began to tremble. It seemed that he felt the breath of his original owner, and wanted the bird to return to the nest. Sure enough, you don't have to die, otherwise, my Kunjung will never be my Kunjung. Shenfa Flower Rain. When Beidou saw this situation, he also started to attack instantly. Shock the door, open. Shanfa Spiral Shuriken. Shubai also released his ninjutsu without hesitation. Moreover, at this time Shubai released the most powerful Marukushu Shuriken in Marukoshu. Coupled with Shubai's Shanshu Chakra, the power of this trick is even stronger than that of Naruto. Of course, Shubai himself is also a hanging force. After opening the shocking door of the 8-door Dunjia, combined with the Flying Thunder God technique and the Spiral Shuriken, Shubai also instantly appeared behind Beidou. Guardian Beast. Seeing that Beidou was about to be attacked by the energy in Shubai's hand, a huge monster also appeared in front of Shubai. And this monster, this beast with wind attributes. Although he is a god beast with the wind attribute, he is immune to most of the wind attribute ninjutsu. However, when Shubai released this, but if Shanshu chakras. In the next moment, Zanchi was also directly knocked into the air. Boom. After being hit, the huge body of the scorpionfish also quickly wanted to fly away. I haven't seen you in a short period of time, and I have become a lot stronger. If it weren't for me to have a backhand, I really want to escape now. But the stronger you are now, the more intense my heart to kill you. The body of Slaughter God's solution. After Beidou said these words, all the energy originally released from his body was taken back into his body. At the same time, the fingers of Kusunaru's sword village were also integrated into his body. Although there was no change in appearance, the dangerous aura exuding from him also made Shubai frown. This guy is really powerful. If it were not the enemy, it would be a good ally. But Shubai did not have the same thoughts as Zujian and Naruto, who had practiced their mouths to the extreme, and tried to convince each other. Now Shubai has only one idea, and that is to directly cripple the guy in front of him. Then, let's talk about other things. System, did you say that I only have some sequelae when I use the dead door, and I won't die, right? Shubai said slowly. Yes, The sound of the system machinery sounded. That's good, I want to see if this guy can withstand my infinite ninjutsu plus the strongest physique attack. The dead door opens, and ninjutsu has unlimited bullets. After Shubai finished speaking, his whole person disappeared instantly. Then, countless ninjutsu gathered from all directions. At this time, even Beidou, who can ignore most of the ninjutsu, was a little confused. You know, Shubai has Shanshu chakra. Although many ninjutsu does not have this energy, many ninjutsu picked up between the pillars are all released using Shanshu chakra. I just didn't expect that it would play such a role at this time. It turns out that this is just dancing. After Shubai finished speaking, he also started to attack with his own physical skills. After all, the dead door was opened, and if you didn't use physical skills, it seemed a little wasted. Boom 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 boom. Cough, wow. After the smoke dissipated, the Beidou in the central area also vomited a mouthful of blood. This power is really powerful. I really don't know that there are guys like you in this world. If it wasn't for our different goals, we really want to be friends with you. Dance, Shen Yuling. Seeing that Beidou this guy only vomited 2 mouthfuls of blood under his powerful attack, Shubai was also a little surprised. You know, after Kai Huang opened the 8-door Dunjia, he almost kicked out the finale. It's not that Shubai is too weak, even if Madara opens the full version of Suzuo Nengu here, it is estimated that Shubai's BT spike will kill him. Suzuo Nengu. Thinking of this, Shubai also instantly sealed his seal, releasing his own Suzu Nengu. Now Shubai has directly crossed the kaleidoscope riding wheel and reached the realm of eternal kaleidoscope. Numerous spikes instantly fell on Suzuo Nengu. Puff puff, although Suzuo Nohu's defensive power is very strong, but in front of this Shen Yuling, it is still not enough. Just a reconciliation, Shubai's Suzuo Nengu was already a bit riddled with holes. Bachi Guyu. Shubai knew that just defense is definitely not this guy's opponent. Therefore, he also sacrificed his first ninjutsu, the 8-foot Guyu. God's power. This power is not yours. Seeing Shubai's Bakugo Jade released, Beidou frowned for the first time. This power that doesn't belong to me is also a power that you can't understand. Do you think my Zubai's things are so easy to take away? Asura's eye. After Shubai finished speaking, an eye appeared on the top of his head. Just after this eye appeared on Shubai's Suzuo Nengu, Shubai found a bow in his hand. And at the moment this bow appeared, the name of this bow appeared in Shubai's mind, and that was the bow of Indra. The name Shubai remembered a person, and that was Urzuzi. Shubai clearly remembered that the second pillar was also a ninjutsu used in the final battle with the mouth of Wang Naruto, and that was the arrow of Indra. This is the ninjutsu that the 2 pillars use the full body of Suzunohu to fill the outer golem statue, fusing the chakras of the 9 big-tailed beasts into one, and further strengthening Suzunohu to perform ninjutsu. This technique transforms all chakras into bows and arrows and shoots them, which has the power to destroy the world. And the original 2 pillars were basically exhausted due to the use of this chakra. It was necessary to rely on the hungry ghost path of the reincarnation eye to absorb a little of Naruto's chakra to activate the addition of earth life. In the end, due to insufficient chakra, it was even difficult to control reincarnation, the ability of the eye. In this way, he and Naruto will start hand-to-hand combat again. At this time, the Indra bow that appeared in Shubai's hand also had this effect. But Shubai can control how many chakras are shot at one time, not like 2 pillars. After Shubai opened his eyes, the face of Beidou opposite him also showed a look of surprise. You know, Shubai was only a weaker person than him before, but in just such a moment, his strength has increased several times. Now, he has even reached a height that can threaten his life. You know, Shubai is the blood of the Uchiha clan. The greater the hatred value, the greater the increase in their abilities. Of course, this also has sequelae. That's because the power of hatred can easily corrupt people's hearts. It will make people lost in power, and finally become a puppet of power. The original Urzu and Madara changed their temperament because of this. It's just that Urzuzi was more fortunate, and finally got salvation from Naruto. As for Madara, he has completely embarked on a path of no return. Beidou, I will ask you again, where is my wife? And why did you kill my brother? With your strength, it should be easy to take Chakryu away directly, why do you do this? Shubai also said again. In his heart, no chakra jade or grass Naruto sword is as important as his relatives. Therefore, Shubai's question is only about his relatives. Your question is a bit strange, I can tell you this. If you trample on an ant, would you wonder, why did you trample this ant to death? Although Beidou felt the threat, it was still very arrogant. Said. In other words, we are ants in your eyes. So if this happened to you and your relatives were killed by a powerful existence, would you still have such thoughts? Shubai was also even more angry. Roared. That's the same way of thinking. Because my relatives were killed by an existence that we all look up to. At that time, I understood one thing, that is, weakness and original sin. In such a world, there is no strength. There is no chance to survive. Beidou said again. After hearing Beidou's words, Shubai's face also lost the desire to continue talking to him. He directly raised the Indra bow in his hand and used his chakra to condense a green arrow. I know, then I will let you understand what is the original sin. Indra's arrow. Shubai directly shot the arrow in his hand after saying this. At this time, Qingzan on one side couldn't stand it anymore. He appeared directly in the middle of the two. Raising his hand, he directly held the Indra arrow that was shot over. The next moment, the powerful impact force also knocked Qingzan away instantly. When Qingzan stopped, he had already appeared more than 600 meters away. At the same time, Qingzan's arm also disappeared directly. Just after Qingzan stopped Shubai's arrow, Beidou's face also showed anger. Qingshan, who told you to intervene in my battle? Even without you, just. If you didn't have me, the arrow just now would have been enough to severely wound you. And after you are seriously injured, what capital do you have to fight with him? Let me say it first, it's not because I have any special feelings for you. I will help you block this arrow. It's just because we have a common goal. If you die, our plan will fail. Otherwise, a guy like you, I won't save you at all. Qingzan also said emotionally. Even if my Beidou died here and was shot into a hornet's nest by Shubai, I don't need you to act. If you want to make another move, don't blame me for being rude. Beidou said again. After hearing Beidou's words, Qingzan also shook his other hand, and soon his disappeared arm recovered. Then it seemed that Shubai glanced at him, and walked aside again without looking at this side. As for Shubai, he was also very surprised, knowing that just now, even though Lujia only used 1/3 of his chakra. But you must know that Lujia's chakra is stronger than the average tail beast. Such a blow was actually blocked by an understatement. Moreover, the arm that disappeared was restored again. This powerful resilience is simply more buggy than the pillars. Beidou, I didn't expect that you are also a guy who relies on women to eat soft food. I will use all my power to start attacking. Friendly reminder, my next attack will be twice as much as before. Shubai finished, and once again shot the Indra arrow in his hand. Seeing energy that was even more terrifying than just now shot over, Beidou also transported all of its strength. God's strike. In the next moment, a powerful energy shot directly from Beidou's hands. And after the two energies touched together, the Indra arrow shot by Shubai disappeared instantly. And Beidou's celestial strike also quickly shot Shubai. But Beidou, who saw this scene, had no happy thoughts at all. Because this is really abnormal. After all, the arrow that Shubai shot just now is super powerful. Even if it was the Beidou that used the celestial strike, he just thought that he could block the attack. But what I didn't expect was that his own attack directly smashed Shubai's Indra arrow. Qingshan, save me. At this moment, a deadly threat appeared behind Beidou. And he also no longer thinks about faceless things. If a person fails, what kind of face is there? Cut. Qingzan also spit lightly, and then appeared in front of Beidou instantly. At this moment, a more powerful Indra arrow also appeared in front of Qingzan. Feeling the power of the arrow in front of him, Qingzan also raised his hands and blocked the arrow. You know, Shubai's hatred of Beidou is very powerful. I can't wait to kill this guy right away. Therefore, Shubai would not give any hints of friendship at all. And the friendship reminder just now is fake. Shubai just used chakra to simulate a super powerful appearance, but the inside is just an ordinary arrow. While shooting this arrow, Shubai also used Flying Thunder God and left here directly. Of course, a clone was also left. Therefore, such a scene will appear. As for Beidou, it left here quickly. Boom. The next moment, a huge mushroom cloud directly rose. And Shubai stood on the side out of breath, the chakra on his body was almost exhausted, and Suzuo Nengu also disappeared directly. I have to say, your attack is really powerful. If Qingshan didn't come with me this time, I would have died. However, the person who is going to die now is you. After a while, a familiar voice also appeared in Shubai's ears. After hearing this voice, Shubai also looked at the mushroom cloud in front of him. At this time, the figure of Beidou also appeared inside. And there is a villain in his hand. If you look carefully, you can also tell the approximate outline, which is Qingshan. In other words, his most powerful blow just did not cause any substantial damage to the two of them. Now that Beidou is still alive, Qingshan is not dead either. According to her terrifying resilience, it shouldn't be long before she will be back as before. I know you are very confused, but I have to say that you are really strong. But no matter how strong you are just a person. But we are an organization. In our organization, we are as strong as me. There are 5 more. With Qingshan's words, there are 7 people in total. With you alone, wanting to oppose us is simply wishful thinking. Beidou also directly interrupted Shubai's words and said slowly. Why tell me this? Shubai asked again. The reason for telling you this is that you will be a dead person right away. I think a dead person shouldn't say our information everywhere, right? By the way, our goal is the Kusanagi sword. The remaining Kusanagi sword. We also know that it is in your village. So, after killing you today, we will go back and destroy your village soon. So you don't have to worry, you will not be lonely below. Beidou also replied again. At this time, Beidou had long forgotten what I just said. Nothing died here without Qingzhan's help, but at this time, he still asked for Qingzhan's help. This is also the reason why Qingzhan only took action after he asked for help. After all, this guy just said too much. Of course, at this time, Beidou had already forgotten all these things. Since this is the case, there is one thing I want to tell you. Whoever gives you the confidence must be able to stop me. Now your partner has no fighting capacity. In other words, as long as I start just now, if you're attacking, you're bound to die, right? Shubai also stood up while forcibly supporting his body, and said with a smile on his face. Ha 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 ha, as for your current body, you still want to release the attack just like that. Are you sure you are teasing me? Beidou laughed loudly after hearing Shubai's words. Actually, I really don't want to discourage your enthusiasm, but I'm sorry to tell you that I can really release the attack just now. I am embarrassed. After Shubai finished speaking, he also raised his hand and directly ended. There was a seal, solution. This seal is not the seal of initiating ninjutsu, but the seal of releasing ninjutsu. You know, even Naruto can leave his clone in Miamu Mountain to help him absorb the natural energy there. And Shubai, who knew this, how could he not leave behind some back players? After releasing his clone in the wet bone forest, a powerful energy appeared in Shubai's body again. To be honest, you are the first person to let me use this. I also have to praise you. You are really powerful. If you say that you are another person, you don't have such an ability. However, now you ready to die? Shubai said with a playful expression. At the same time looking at the nervous Beidou, Shubai's heart is also super enjoyable. You, Big Dipper, hurry up, now he is not someone we can deal with. If we all die here, the task will become even more difficult. After Qingzhan finished speaking, he was instantly restored to just now. Look like, you, Qingshan. This is not the time to talk nonsense here, hurry up. Qingzhan also roared loudly. After hearing Qingzhan's words, Beidou also glanced at Shubai, then raised the Kusunaru sword in his hand, and instantly opened the space and disappeared. At this time, Shubai also found that the mark he had left on Beidou could not be detected. In other words, this guy should have entered another space. But now that Qingzhan stayed to stop Shubai, it really gave that Shubai a headache. Looking at Qingzhan in front of him, Shubai also lifted his fairy mode. I know that you should be in charge of Mount among them. Plus, there is no hatred between us. Now as long as you answer one of my questions, I can let you go. Shubai is also direct. Said. Although Shubai is very angry now, after all, he and Qingzhan have no hatred. The person who killed his brother was Beidou, and now that this guy has disappeared, there is no need for him to implicate other people. What's the problem? Seeing Shu Bai didn't mean to do anything, Qingzan said slowly. I want to know where my wife Minako is now. Another point is, what on earth do you want to do? Shu Bai also directly asked his own question. Beidou brought back a woman, but that woman left directly after arriving here. As for the next question, I am sorry I can't answer you yet. But what Beidou said just now is true. Others, I can't say it. By the way, this is another thing Beidou brought back from you, and I will return it to you, as if you didn't have a killer in return. Qingshan said, also in his arms. A little chakra jade was thrown out of it. After appearing in front of Shu Bai, it also became a huge chakra jade. I see, goodbye. Shu Bai disappeared after saying this. Seeing Shu Bai who disappeared, Qingzan's face also showed a complicated look. It's really like my brother, but you are luckier than him. Qingzan also disappeared directly after saying this. Soon, Qingzan was also taken away by a hand extending from a space. In a claustrophobic space. Beidou, didn't I say, don't move them for now when they are not showing up? You are so impulsive every time. Now that you are stunned by the grass, what shall we do? And all the staff will mobilize to kill the village. If we do, they will know that we are here. Then, what should we do? We haven't collected the seven-handed grass Naginata swords. If we shoot now, we must be defeated. The headed man also said with an angry expression. Tiangong, it's not that I want to do it. They originally mastered the energy that can hurt us, but now there is another kind of energy that can cause us harm. If this is the case, then our threat will be more than that. Those guys. So, even now, do you still have no regrets? If it is not Qingzan who rescued you by force this time, you will die. No. Tiangong roared again. Okay Tiangong, this has already happened. It doesn't make sense to say who is right and who is wrong now. What we need to do now is to know, what should we do next? It is the same as what Beidou said just now. The current killing is this hidden threat still the same as the previous plan? At this time, Ji Yuan on one side also said slowly. After hearing what Ji Yuan said, Tiangong didn't continue to speak either. I think, you don't need to think about it. You are not allowed to participate in all actions from now on. As for the person who affects your Kusanagi sword, he will always die. Just reflect on it here. As for Ji Yuan, you don't want to help either. Talking to him, there is no discussion about this matter. Tiangong interrupted Beidou directly, and then disappeared directly. Seeing Tiangong disappeared, other people also disappeared, leaving Beidou alone. Cut. Beidou also spit lightly, and lay down directly depressed. On Shu Bai's side, it took 2 days to return to Konoha. After returning to Konoha, this place has already begun to be renovated with great fanfare. At the entrance of Konoha's village, there was also an announcement. It is marked with the names and photos of many people. It also states which family these people belong to, what they have committed, and what punishment they have now received. It seems that Madara's movements are still very fast. It only took a few days to deal with these. Shu Bai also used this sentence directly on the mark of Madara. The next moment, Shu Bai also appeared in the Hokage office. Elder Shu Bai, are you back? Seeing Shu Bai coming back from Zujian, he also asked directly. Well, I'm back. What's wrong with Madara? It seems a little unhappy. Shu Bai also said slowly. Now Shu Bai has a new goal, which is to keep picking up and opening gift packages. When the resurrection items are obtained at that time, the two will be resurrected as soon as possible. Although he would be able to reincarnate in the ninjutsu, Fatty and Lu Yan said that if there is such a day, I hope Shu Bai will not use this ninjutsu against them. Therefore, Shu Bai has no such idea. After all, he knew a lot of things. It's better for Madara to say it yourself. Shima shook his head and said slowly. Seeing such an expression in Zujian, Shu Bai knew that something must have happened. Otherwise, Madara wouldn't have changed so much in just a few days. Ma, what are you? Shu Bai also shifted his gaze to Madara, who had a terrible face, and said slowly. Shu Bai, I want to ask you a question. Did my Hokage fail in particular? Madara also said. Failure? Why? Under your leadership, our village is now the strongest village, and we have accepted the most tasks. With the establishment of the Ninja Academy, our strength is now constantly improving. This way, under the circumstances, why would you say this? Shubai said with a puzzled expression. After hearing Shubai's words, Madara and Zuma sighed. Okay, let me talk about it. Madara himself probably can't say such a thing. No, this is my own business, I can still do it. Madara also interrupted the post, and said slowly, you know what, Shubai, I know why they are dissatisfied with the village's form. Because my Uchiha clan is too strong, living with us, they are under a lot of pressure. At the same time, it is also because there are some people in our Uchiha clan. They show off in front of other clan members, and then accumulate over time, they are also very dislike me. After listening to Madara's words, Shubai's face also showed a strange look. In other words, the Uchiha clan committed the crime, and now the clan leader Uchiha Madara and Konoha's Hokage are responsible. But even so, they wouldn't be allowed to betray the village. Shubai said suspiciously. Didn't we incorporate ninjutsu before? At that time, there was also an explanation of the changing nature of the 5-attribute chakra provided by the Sarutobi clan. At that time, I thought it was copied by the clan. This is also the reason. Madara began to tell Shubai little by little the information he got from the minds of those betrayers. After listening to this, Shubai also knew. Sure enough, the embankment of 1,000 miles collapsed in an ant nest. The accumulation of small things has become the situation now. After listening to Madara's words, Shubai's face also showed a suspicious look. If you really follow this script, Madara will be blackened. Now the opinions of Madara in the village are getting bigger and bigger, and Madara is a very conceited person. If it was just a little bit, he wouldn't care at all. But if there are too many such sounds, Madara will be disgusted. At that time, maybe history will be the same as before. Moreover, Shubai calculated the time, now it is 3 years for Konoha, that is to say, there is still a year before the Battle of End Valley. If this continues, Madara will definitely resign from Hokage next year. Then, it was Senjujuma doing Naruto. At that time, if there is another betrayal in time, then, things are a bit big. Bara, tell me if you have read the contents of the slate. Shubai suddenly thought of a possibility and asked directly. Yes, I have read it. Although you said that the above content has been revised, I think it makes sense. Madara also replied directly. What kind of slate? A stunned expression between the pillars. Didn't I tell you? It was a slap in the face. If you really did the above, it would cause even greater disaster. Shubai also said again. Disaster. But the current situation is a disaster for me. I have considered that the above technique is likely to succeed. So, if it really reaches that point, I will do that too. Said slowly too. What kind of technique? The pillars were still stunned. But you know, if you use that technique, you, as the caster, can't enter that world. Moreover, then you will be like a puppet machine, just someone who controls these outside. Shubai also said again. If I am sacrificed so that everyone can be happy, I am willing. Madara said again. At this moment, a super strong resentment arose. I said, can you let me also know what is going on? The column also said again. But at this time, both Ban and Shubai didn't continue talking, and turned to look at the pillar with a little horror. Whether it is Madara or Shubai, they have never seen this state. Well, it's up to you to speak for Madara. This is what you as the patriarch can only see. As I said, some of them are going to be on your behalf. Shubai also threw the ball directly to Madara. For me, you know, there is a problem with my expression, haha are you? Then I said, Madara actually wants to use a technique to plunge everyone in this world into illusion. Then according to their own ideas, spend the life they want to live in illusion. Shubai also slowly said. After hearing Shubai's words, Zujian was also a little surprised. If there is such a powerful technique that can affect everyone, then this is simply a customized life. Moreover, this method can also eliminate all evil. Mara, is the risk of this ninjutsu big? Zujian unexpectedly did not object, but asked such a sentence. After hearing the words between the pillars, Shubai's face was also hung with black lines. Isn't this guy always opposed to this before? Why, suddenly betrayed now? Did you two make a mistake about the point? It's not a problem at all, but if you really do this, then do they really still exist? live a virtual life, and then unknowingly die. One more thing, if you die, then they return to the real world, how do you let them live in this world? In what capacity to live? Shubai interrupted the two of them. Discuss, say directly. After hearing Shubai's words, Madara was also silent. Indeed, no matter how powerful a person is, he cannot withstand the invasion of time. You can't always arrange for someone to control this technique, right? Ban, I still said that. No matter what decision you make, I'm your elder brother. Shubai began to think when seeing the two of them, and said again. When Madara heard Shubai's words, he also nodded. And Shubai, after saying this, also disappeared directly. Shubai left directly, not knowing what Madara and Zuma's two good friends were thinking. After all, if you are here, what should you do if things affect them from picking up soap? Therefore, Shubai chose to leave directly. After this incident, the new year soon arrived. And the atmosphere that was very gloomy before was completely diluted by the atmosphere of this new year. Although Shubai didn't know if Chinese New Year here is the same as Chinese New Year in his own world. But seeing everyone with smiles on their faces, Shubai's mood also relaxed a little. Boom boom. Just as Shubai shut himself in the room, there was a knock on the door. Please come in. You must know that the person who can come here to knock on his door at this time must be someone familiar with him. So Shubai said directly. Xiaobai, we're back for the new year. Madara is here too. Whispered at a high speed, this guy just wants to come, but he's not sincere at all. I have to say that we want to come and he can't help it, so he came with us. Uchiha Kuna also looked at Shubai jokingly and said slowly. This guy has always had this character. I'm used to it. By the way, I remember the eldest sister, you seem to have it, why don't you see it at all? Shubai also said slowly. The originally lonely heart also became a little cheerful because of Uchiha's arrival. It's been only 3 months. It doesn't matter. If the younger siblings are there, maybe, Xiaobai, I'm sorry I said the wrong thing. Uchiha Kuna suddenly realized something and quickly closed it. Own mouth. It's okay. I really want to know what the status quo of Minako is now. But I don't know where she is now, but I believe that I can find her. Moreover, Minako told me everything directly. The truth. At this point, I know that Minako should be forced. Shubai also said directly. You know, Uchiha Kuna can say such things, which shows that she really cares about Shubai. Plus this is his family, how could Shubai be angry? Well, Minako has been with us for so long, and we all know her character. Even if she did something like this, we can forgive her, can't we? Uchiha Kuna also said again. Don't pull me, really, Shubai, your sister must pull me over, otherwise. Okay, I know you are a busy person. By the way, sister, go and prepare first. Mother is here too, call your mother together. I will sit outside with Madara. Shubai also said slowly. Got it. In this way, the two women were relieved when they saw Shubai's situation. Go directly to Uchiha Rongrong. The two also went directly to the courtyard. At this time, Shubai's house had been rebuilt. With the super coolie between the pillars, it is not too simple to build a house. Bara, do you still want to use unlimited moon reading now? After Shubai sat down, he also directly said his own question. This technique requires too many things. Let's not talk about anything else. I don't know where the outer golem is now. There is also the one you mentioned last time. I have also considered it carefully. Life is unknown. There is nothing wrong with it at all, Madara said slowly, too. After hearing Madara's words, Shubai knew that this matter was temporarily pressed. But this matter was known to Madara, and I hope that nothing will break out because of this in the future. The outer golem is on the moon, but you need some preparation to go there. I think it's better to control this thing in my own hands. After all, I is a 10-tailed body, and it is also very powerful. Shubai I also mentioned it directly. The moon, Madara was also suspicious. Well, the guy between the pillars said to come later. How about, let's come to Bibi. Right on my mind. After the two had finished speaking, they both laughed. Soon, after a family had finished the New Year's Eve dinner, Uchiha Kuna also took his sister and mother to set off the fireworks. As for Shubai and Madara, they came to Hokage Cliff. At this time, the pillars were already waiting here. I'm still afraid that I'll be late, but you two came even later. Okay, how did you come this time? Forget the speed. I guess no one's speed is faster than this guy. After all, Fei Lei Shen, we have all felt the speed of this. Zhu Jian also said directly. Let's compare chakra first. The game is divided into 3. 1 is the total amount of chakras, 20 chakras are controlled, and 30 sin chakras are used. Madara also said slowly. Yes, let me do it first. After Shu Bai finished speaking, he also released all of his chakras in an instant. A chakra like a demon from hell appeared in front of the two, and at the same time a chakra like a god appeared. The 2 chakras intertwined and slowly condensed into a huge monster. The next moment, this huge monster suddenly stretched out 2 hands. Fire escape fireworks. The next moment, Huo Dun, Wind Dun, and Thunder Dun's chakra rushed into the sky and exploded directly. Blossoms of gorgeous fireworks also appeared in the sky. Okay, I'm over. This monster is called Nian. It is a kind of sacred beast. It will come out during the new year and give happiness to all living beings. And this firework is the ninjutsu I released with the chakra beast. Shu Bai also slowed down. Said slowly. You guy, I haven't seen you for a few months. Why is there such a big change in your strength? Tell me honestly, is there any secret? Ban Yi said with a stunned expression. You know, when the 3 of them competed last year, Shu Bai was still at the bottom. But it has only been a year, and the speed of this guy's improvement is simply terrifying. Secret. Actually, there is also a secret. It seems that I can not only copy your ninjutsu, but also my talent. Shu Bai also said with a smile. After hearing Shu Bai's words, Zhu Jian and Madara glanced at each other. Both of them had the same color in their eyes, that is, they wanted to beat Shu Bai, this guy. Originally copying ninjutsu and then being able to cast it instantly is already very perverted, but now I have created another talent that can be copied for you. This is simply, uncle can bear it, aunt cannot bear it. You two, what do you want to do? Shu Bai was also a little flustered when he saw the 2 of them looking at him with a smirk. In fact, there is nothing more, just want to see how much your strength has been improved. Between the pillars, do it. Susanna can help. After Madara finished speaking, he also released his own Susanna in an instant. Hey, I wanted to do this a long time ago. Immortal Law True Wood Realm is coming, Immortal Law True Wood Dragon Art. Let your wooden dragon use it, it's hard for beasts. Soon, the 2 also released the combined ninjutsu together. It looks like he's still very skilled. In other words, these 2 guys were premeditated. You two, there really is a tacit understanding. However, I don't intend to give up. Suzuo, Immortal Body. After Shu Bai finished speaking, he also released his ninjutsu in an instant. In the next moment, Madara and Zuma also directly attacked. And Shu Bai, who also controlled his own Suzuo Nengu, directly stretched out his hand and grabbed the wooden dragon. Then, the other hand also opened the bow of Indra. Zujian, pay attention. After Shu Bai finished speaking, he shot the Indra arrow instantly. Of course, at this time Shu Bai also controlled his chakra, otherwise even the pillars would be choking. Shanfa 5-fold Rashomon, Immortal Seal Famous God. Zhu Jian also released his strongest sealing technique and front defense in an instant. At the next moment, Shu Bai's 6 hands were all sealed, plus his head and body, all were sealed. I forgot to tell you that Madara's Suzuo Nengian clone, I also learned it. Just now you sealed it, and it was my clone. Huo Dun Indra's Wrath. Shu Bai finished. It also turned the Indra bow in his hand into a big fireball, and then threw it out instantly. I'm going. This is absolutely perverted. When Madara faced this, he couldn't bear it. Fighting against such a guy is simply uncomfortable. Mara, it's real. If it still does, we will lose. Zuma also said loudly to Ma. I see. Shu Bai quickly move us to a place where there is no one. The next battle is not suitable for the village. Madara also roared loudly. After hearing Ma's words, Shu Bai was also a little helpless. These 2 guys want to launch some tricks to deal with them, and now they have to take their own efforts to take the 2 away together. Really, too treacherous, right? Flying. Wait, and I have to bring 9 tails. He is now my summoned beast. I originally wanted to be a man of Zhu Li, but Zhu Jian said that my original chakra is of yin attribute, and it is similar to 9 tails. Chong. Madara also said loudly. Don't you just summon yourself later? Shubai said with a dazed expression. Isn't the summoning to waste chakra? You guy has so many chakras, so I'll leave it to you. Madara also said slowly, as if I was shameless and invincible in the world. After hearing Ma's words, Shubai suddenly felt speechless. It's true that Madara makes a lot of sense, and that's it. However, Shubai always felt that he was at a loss. However, at this time Kyuubi was in the forest behind Hokage Cliff, and it was not difficult to take it away. Well, yes, let's choose to be in the Kingdom of Wind. They are all deserts and it is convenient. Shubai also asked slowly. No, just in the plains of the wind where we fought before. The distance there is not too far, we can also feel the original atmosphere. Madara said directly. After hearing Madara's words, Shubai also nodded. Shubai had visited this plane of wind before, and there was his mark. It's good to want to pass now. The next moment, the three of them also disappeared here directly. By the time they appeared, they were already in the plains of wind. Mabra, doesn't this mean that the new year is coming? Why do you call me out at this time? Kyuubi looked at Madara with an unhappy expression. Isn't there an enemy? That's why I called you. You see, this guy is blackened, and we have to defeat him. Madara also said directly. After hearing Madara's words, Kyuubi also looked in the direction Madara was pointing. But when it saw Shubai's Suzuo Nangu, the pupils instantly shrank. Mara, isn't this Elder Shubai? Also, such a perverted Susanna, you want me to fight him, don't go. After seeing Shubai's Susanna, Kyuubi it is also a second time. You know, even Madara's Susanoo can be tied with Kyuubi. Coupled with Madara's illusion, Kyuubi has never won. Now there appeared in front of him a man who was stronger than Madara's Susanoo and belonged to the Uchiha clan. He had no desire to fight at all. That's right, Zhuanyan. Madara saw the ink marks of Kyuubi, and directly released the Zhuanyan to control Kyuubi. Zujian, let's get started. Okay, Immortal Law True Tree Thousand Hands Technique, Top the Buddha. The next moment, a huge thousand hands Guanyin also appeared in front of Lu Jia. The wild beast is frantic. And Madara also appeared beside the pillars in an instant, and then the whole Sasanohu surrounded Avalokitesvara. The next moment, nine-tailed chakra was once again covered. Seeing the wild beast in front of him was frantic, Shubai also felt a sense of panic in his heart. Sure enough, they are two superpowers. In the face of such an attack, Shubai is definitely not sure that he will win even if he is the arrow of Indra. Shanfa Indra Arrow. Shubai also directly condensed his most powerful attack and shot it directly. And at this time, between the pillars and Madara also launched a wild beast frenzy. Countless hands slapped the Indra arrow, and as each arm disappeared, the power of the Indra arrow continued to decrease. Boom! The next moment, the attacks of the two sides came into contact completely, and a shocking noise also appeared. Sister, this is. It must be the three of them, right? Really, the strength is so high, and like a child. But next year, I should not see such a thing. Now the strength of the three is constantly improving. It is estimated that if they are improving, they will not fight here anymore. Uchiha Kuna also said slowly. Yeah, Uchiha Zukin also continued to clean up the yard and Shubai's home. Although they are Madara's wife now, Shubai is still their younger brother. This noise also shocked everyone in Konoha. Minister, this. I know, with such a powerful impact, there must be masters. They are not there now, maybe they are fighting there now. We also went to support immediately and called all the Anbu members, all let's go. Chinshojian also frowned his brows, and gave the order in an instant. At this time, even Shubai and the others didn't know, their competition shocked Konoha. At this time, the three of them didn't have the mind to care about these things. Because the three of them are all weak now, although chakra hasn't been exhausted yet, the shock just now also affected them. Well, I gave up. You still have 9 tails to provide chakras, and I can't beat you too. Shubai also said directly. You guy, what was the attack just now? Madara also panted and said slowly. That is a new move I researched, called Indra's Arrow. It is a ninjutsu that can concentrate all the chakras on one's body to one point. This ninjutsu has no attributes, no matter what kind of attack it is, can be integrated. Shubai also said with a smile. Although Shubai lost in the final result of this game. But seeing the cooperation between Madara and Zu, Shubai knew that the two-god battle would never happen. And here, there is also a big lake. The original End Valley should have been formed like this, right? Really, I thought that the two of us were able to improve fast enough. But compared to you, it still doesn't work. The most important thing is that you guys still stole our talents and became so powerful. I always feel that I still want to beat you up, Ban said, but also rushed directly to Shubai. The column on one side also rushed up with a smirk. You two, do you want to be shameless? Now that I have given up, you are going to attack me together. Although Shubai said this, he raised his fist and rushed forward. Of course, all three of them have not used chakra and ninjutsu. 10 minutes later, the door was the first to arrive. But when he got here, the whole person was sluggish. Because he saw a scene that was impossible to happen, Shubai and the three of them were actually fighting each other. It was the most primitive fist. As for the other Anbu members, they didn't dare to say anything when they arrived, they just watched wherever they were. Although I don't know what happened, but from what I see now, I can basically guess it. These three guys really love to cause trouble. Big brother, do you need help now? Fei Jian also said helplessly. Now we can't move anymore, Shubai is a pervert. Okay, let's take us back first. The column also said slowly. As for Shubai and Ban, they couldn't even speak. Except for knowing that I knew I was lying here, it was almost as if I lost consciousness. Soon, the three were directly brought back to Konoha. Fortunately, at this time, no strong attacked Konoha, otherwise Konoha would be in danger if all three of them had lost their combat effectiveness. You know, at this time Konoha lost a lot of combat power because of the previous rebellion. Moreover, the patriarch level strength like Harunara at that time has also lost nearly 7 or 8. In other words, Konoha can be said that there are not many high-level strengths nowadays. 3 days later, all three of them recovered. This is how the new year has passed, and the new reward tasks have begun to be implemented one by one. What's so strange about this mission? Ban looked at AB level mission that Shubai had received, and looked at Shubai slowly with a puzzled look. There is nothing special about this mission. I just want to pick up some missions that are far away, and then look for Minako while doing the mission. Shubai also said slowly. Go. Come back quickly, Konoha also needs you. Madara also stamped and signed the mission Shubai took. Seeing Madara doing this, Shubai also knew why Hokage was so busy. Regardless of the size, Hokage has to personally live the purpose. That's why there are so many official duties that he needs to handle. But also, this is just a village, only a Hokage can solve everything here. If it were to be managed by a country in this way, it would probably exhaust the managers, right? Okay, I will be back as soon as possible. Also, remember that no matter what happens, don't want to go to extremes. By the way, there is still 1 month before the re-election. Transfer the position to Zujian. You and I are both people who want to gain strength. It is a pity to stay here for management. After Shubai finished speaking, he left without waiting for Madara to say something. After Shubai disappeared, Madara's face also showed a smile. This guy really understands himself a little bit. Originally doing this Hokage was just Madara's obsession. Now that he has been doing Hokage for 3 years, Madara has no reason to continue. After Shubai left the Hokage office, he also left the village quickly. This time the mission is in the country of the apes. Even the fog in this country is red. At the same time, the people here are also red-haired. Of course, this is not a relative of the Whirlpool clan, just because of the environment here. And there is a special blood succession boundary here, which is similar to the blood succession boundary of pupil technique in writing round eyes. Of course, their eyes are more than a little weaker than that of Xuanyan, and Shubai's purpose is this family. If Lu Jia is not wrong, these various blood inheritance boundaries are the secrets of the entire Hokage world. As for what the secret is, Shubai still doesn't know. But one thing that can be imagined is that after the blood and succession boundaries of the entire world have been assembled, they should be known. It is necessary to know that after the image spot obtains the cells between the pillars, it also directly opens the reincarnation eye. If it is said that after all the blood succession boundaries are brought together, it must not be as simple as the reincarnation eye. Therefore, now Shubai is also beginning to collect all the intelligence of the bloodline boundary. Because he was afraid that the families with blood inheritance boundaries would disappear in this world, Shubai also started to act. This time Shubai was not in a hurry. After all, he had only taken a B-level character, and he needed his help to fix a robber. And there is no time limit. Therefore, Shubai also inquired about Minako while walking. Soon, Shubai also came to a small inn. There is a ramen restaurant here, with a ramen flag hanging on it. It was precisely because of seeing this banner that Shubai chose to stop and take a look. Boss, let's have a bowl of super luxurious ramen. I want all the ingredients to be doubled. After Shubai sat down, he also ordered a bowl of ramen directly. Okay, just a second. A few minutes later, a super luxurious lemon ramen was served. Guest, you don't look like a local here. Why do you appear here at this time? At this time, Itsuki Yil also said slowly. Brother Yil, you are opening a ramen shop in this wilderness, isn't it even more weird? Shubai also replied while eating ramen. Although it has been rumored, this ramen is made by Itsuki Yil. But no one can show the actual proof, and now Shubai hasn't rolled his eyes yet, and can't see the chakra on him. So, I can only say this. How do you know my name is Yil? Datongmu Yil also said with a puzzled look. Isn't there a sign in front of your door? It says Yil Ramen, and you agreed when I called the boss, so I guess you're called Yil. As for your full name, I don't know. Shubai wiped out all the ramen in his bowl as he said. After eating and drinking, Shubai also stood up directly. Brother Yil, I belong to Konoha, the country of fire. If you are interested, you can go to our village. My name is Uchiha Zubai. If you encounter any trouble there, you can go to Master Naruto and report my name. By the way, let's give you a letter of recommendation. After Shubai finished speaking, he also took out a pen and paper and wrote a lot of things. By the way, Brother Yil, have you ever met a girl like this? After Shubai finished speaking, he also took out his own portrait of Minako. This girl, I've seen it before, it's in the flood country in Linhai. Yil also said slowly. Thank you. After passing the recommendation letter in his hand to Yil, Shubai also disappeared instantly. A few minutes later. Guest, you haven't given money yet. At this moment, Yila, who suddenly woke up, also roared loudly. But at this time, Shubai has been away for a long time. After leaving here, Shubai also quickly continued to move forward. Crap, I don't seem to know the road. After leaving a long way, Shubai looked at the scenes around him that seemed to be familiar, only to realize that he was a super road idiot. After thinking about it, Shubai also disappeared again. Half a day later, Shubai also set off again, and at this time, Shubai also had an extra teammate that was the flying segment. I've said it, I don't know where the flood country is. You suddenly asked me to take you there now. How can I go? Feijuan said with an uncomfortable expression. Feiduan, you should know the illusion of our Uchiha clan. If you want me to clean your memory, then you don't have to say it. Shubai looked at Fiden with a smile on his face, slowly said. Seeing Shubai's innocent and cute smile, Feijuan felt that it was not good to deceive such a person. And so, I remember it, you said that my memory is simply too bad. Forgive me, I remember it. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, Feijuan also said slowly. That's good, just think of it. Let's go. In this way, Feiduan took Shubai and set off towards the land of flood. As for the matter of Yinjiguo, let's push it back first. Anyway, Shubai didn't know where this country was. As time passed slowly, Shubai and the others also arrived in the land of flood. This country is just like its name, and flood seasons often occur here. As long as it is the flood season, there will be a big tide here. After this tide appears, the sea level will basically rise by tens of meters. Therefore, the buildings here are supported by tall beams, and the houses are built on tall pillars. At this time, Shubai was also the first guest he had arrived here. Our country does not welcome other people, so please go back. A pineapple-headed guy appeared in front of Shubai and said slowly. My violent temper, you don't welcome outsiders here. Did you know that your last leader was me? Flying section, well, don't talk. Shubai also interrupted the flying section directly. He only now knows why this guy knows the way here. It turned out that it was because he had taken the mission here. It seems that the boss here is still beheaded. Now if this guy is allowed to speak out, the possibility that he wants to get information here is very slim. But, flying section, okay, don't mind, this guy is like that. I'm here just to find my wife. I heard people say that she's been here recently, so I want to come to your country. Inquire about her news. This is her portrait, Shubai said, and also took out the portrait of Minako. This, I don't know her. The man was surprised at first, and then he insisted that he hadn't seen Minako. But seeing this guy's expression, Shubai knew that this guy must have met Minako. If this guy has always done guard work here, then this guy must have met Minako. After all, Yila will not deceive Shubai for no reason. So now this guy says he doesn't know him, plus his expression. Shubai can basically be sure that this guy and Minako know each other, and even if they don't, they must know something. That's it, then bother. Shaping round eyes. After Shubai finished speaking, he opened his own writing round eyes. One of Shubai's writing wheel slap abilities is to wash the mind. While washing the mind, one can also see other people's memories. Therefore, Shubai also directly activated this ability. Soon, Shubai frowned. This man is called Hitobi, and he is the captain of the guard team of the village. And Minako is really in this country, and is about to have a wedding with the leader of this country. This is why this guy was so surprised after Shubai took out the portrait of Minako before. Fei Duan, are you still good at killing people now? Shubai also turned to Fei Duan and said. Originally worried about Minako's safety, now that he knew this information, the anger in Shubai's heart became even more exuberant. The most important thing is that no matter what happens to any man, he will have such an idea. I dare not talk about other things, but I am always ready to kill people. Feijuan said with pride after hearing Shubai's words. Okay, watch my gestures for a while, as long as I say hands on, you will start acting directly. As long as it is our hostile, even if it is watching the excitement, all of them can be killed. After Shubai finished speaking, he also compared Keto. I threw it aside and entered here directly. And they don't have to ask for directions at all, because H is their leader's wedding, so basically all of them went there. Soon, they came to the wedding scene. And the moment Shubai saw Minako on the stage, the evil spirit on his body was already uncontrollable. And after feeling the breath on Shubai's body, even the flying section would retreat more than 10 meters. Who are you? Today is our leader's day of great rejoicing. All the troublemakers are killed. At this moment, 5 men with short knives appeared in front of Shubai and said slowly. Me, kill, hee, ha 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 ha. It seems that you don't know anything about power. After Shubai finished speaking, there was a black flame on his body. Me, kill, hee, ha 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 ha. It seems that you don't know anything about power. After Shubai finished speaking, there was a black flame on his body. The full body Susanna also appeared here in an instant. Seeing the appearance of this thing, the flying segment even withdrew from a distance of 50 meters. Even at this distance, Fei Duan's heart trembling could not be resisted. Although I have never confronted Shubai like this, the feeling passed from above is enough to make the flying section tremble. This, what is this? And the others, after feeling the cold, evil and powerful aura on Shubai's body, they all wanted to go first. This gentleman, I don't know where I have offended you. But, today is my wedding day, I still hope, it was your wedding that offended me. Do you know that the woman standing next to you is my wife? Minako, tell me why you want to leave me and come here. Shubai also roared angrily. After hearing Shubai's words, everyone's eyes focused on Minako. Even Fei Duan, who was sweating coldly, cast gossip gazes toward this side. My name is not Minako, but Minako you mentioned as my sister. My name is Hanako Ozawa. The woman who was standing on the stage also walked out and said slowly. Yes, his name is Ozawa Shizukuko. Shut up. I've been with her for 6 years, 6 years, do you know? If I can't recognize you anymore, who else in this world can recognize you? Minako, if you want to use this, run away from me and tell me directly. If this is your choice, I am willing to accept it. However, I will never allow it. What will happen to anyone else while you are still in love with me? Shubai also said loudly roared. The bride who originally wanted to say something was shocked when she looked at Shubai with tears on her face. Unexpectedly, such a strong man would cry like this. And now the cry of this strong man is still himself. I am voluntary and no one persecutes me. The leader came to our family because he didn't want to have a relationship with me. But according to our family rules, if you don't lose your hand after being selected, you will be put to death. The leader at that time, the poor girl, took me away. After I came back, it has been a year. We also had emotions between the two of us, so we decided to be together at this time. The woman also said slowly. After hearing the woman's words, Shubai's face also showed a look of surprise. This kind of thing is exactly the same as what happened to me in Monaco back then. Except for the shorter time, everything else is basically the same. You mean you were taken away a year ago? Shubai stabilized his emotions a bit, and said slowly. You know, when he released Suzuo Nohu, he added his own heart-washing pupil technique. As long as someone lied in front of him, Shubai knew it. In other words, the woman in front of me is really not Minako, but her younger sister, Sakiko. Yes, it is. In other words, if you go back to the family now, you know the way, right? Shubai asked again. My family. Said this, Shijinzi's expression was a bit wrong. At the next moment, Shubai noticed that a strange chakra began to emanate from the surface of Xianzi's body. Seal technique, seal of 4 miles. Seeing this scene, Shubai also directly released his own seal technique, sealing the Shizizi. Although I don't know what happened, I can feel a sense of instability. In other words, if you don't do it yourself, it is very likely to be dangerous. Why are you? Now, please be quiet for the time being. I just said that you probably don't know anything about power. Before I can handle my affairs, let's pause the wedding. After Shubai finished speaking, he directly took Gon with the snails. Seeing Shubai like this, Fei Duan also swallowed. This guy is cruel, it seems to be really scary. After Shubai left there with Fei Duan and Shi Zhuizi, he also asked Fei Duan to let the wind go. And Shubai directly used his own heart to wash his heart, and began to look at the memory of Shi Jinzi. It was at this time that Shubai discovered a secret. That is, there is a seal on the family residence in Shi Jizi's memory. And it was this seal that had just exuded that ominous aura. It is estimated that this seal is like the seal of the family separation of the Hyuga clan. However, the seal of the Hyuga clan is that as long as they die, they will directly destroy their eyes. The seal on the body of Shiezi is directly activated when someone wants to peep into the family residence. As for whether to clean up this memory directly or to kill Shijiaozi directly, Shubai didn't know this. Hijuan, I need to go back to Konoha now. This is what I have to do when I come out this time. You go to Yinji Kingdom and help me kill the people on this mission. Then, wait for me there. I will be there. I'll get to you in the fastest time. Remember, wait for me. After Shubai finished speaking, he also disappeared directly with the croaker. Although Shubai is also very good at sealing, what he is good at is picking up by himself. But when facing other seals, if you want to lift it, you still need to go to the Maelstrom clan. After all, they are experts on this. And Fei Duan stood there blankly. Isn't he a guide? When did you become this guy's thug? Although I wanted to complain and complain, Shubai is gone now. Even if Shubai is still here, it is estimated that Fei Duan dare not have any complaints. After looking at the task list in his hand, Fei Duan also headed for the kingdom of Yin. Shubai, on the other hand, used Flying Thunder God to rush my Konoha quickly. You know, the time for his seal of 4 miles is only 5 days. If the seal cannot be lifted after 5 days, it is estimated that Shizizi is in danger. Although this person is not Minako, Shubai does not want to involve an innocent person because of his own affairs. 3 days later, Shubai also returned to Konoha. And at this time, Shubai also found the pillar in the first time, because the current patriarch of the Uzumaki clan was Uzumaki Mito's elder brother, Uzumaki Mito. Between the pillars, I have basically told you about my affairs. No matter what, you must help me. Shubai also said slowly. I will definitely try my best to help you, but you also know that because of you Uchiha clan, the Uzumaki clan died a lot. After all, they. Between the pillars, we won't say much about these imaginary things. The original situation was that the Maelstrom clan betrayed first. As for whether they would like it or not, it's up to you. By the way, you don't want to. I went to extremes. Road, Shubai also said with a smile. It was not that Shubai wanted to threaten the pillars, but that Shubai had no time to resolve the hatred between the two races. Moreover, in such a short period of time, Shubai did not want to do ideological work. The only thing he wanted to know now was whether the Maelstrom family could lift this seal. Okay, don't get excited yet. I'll ask about this first. How long will I be able to give me? Seeing Shubai's appearance in the column, he also said directly. You know, if Shubai is blackened, even if he and Madara stop it together, it is estimated that it will bring devastating disasters to Konoha and even the world. For 2 hours, the time that Shizizi can hold is only 1 day and 20 disappeared, so I can only give you this time. Shubai also said slowly. After hearing Shubai's words, the pillars disappeared instantly. An hour later, Uzumaki Mito followed Zujian to Shubai's face. Elder Zubai, can I see your friends now? Uzumaki Mito also said slowly. Yes, you know, Uzumaki Mito's sealing technique cultivation base is also very powerful. If she is willing to help, maybe you don't have to go to the elders and patriarchs of the Uzumaki clan. At the next moment, Shubai also directly brought the Shizizi to the front of Uzumaki Mito. Wait, let me see what's going on first. After Uzumaki Mito finished speaking, he also started to check. You know, the Maelstrom clan has super perceptual power, so just feel it, and you will probably know what's going on. Time slowly passed, and a layer of sweat appeared on Uzumaki Mito's forehead. I found it. It turned out to be this seal technique. Elder Zubai, this seal technique is a bit special, and only the operator can remove it. Moreover, depending on the strength of this seal technique, it should not be particularly strong. If no accident, it is estimated to be applied. When performing the surgery, the surgeon performed this technique on many people. By the way, I will tell you that this girl is not a human being. Uzumaki Mito also said slowly. After hearing what Uzumaki Mito said, Shubai's face also showed a look of doubt. He is not a human, then she is. Shubai also directly asked his doubts. He was copied. In other words, there are many people like her. However, they should have been copied since they were young. They all grew up by themselves. Now, everyone is with his own independent personality. Uzumaki Mito also said again. Hearing this, Shubai also thought of a fellow, that is Baiju. But Shubai remembered that Baiju seemed to be the result of Heiju. And it still took advantage of the flesh between the pillars. So now, how did this Ozawa clan make so many clones? You mean, they are all clones? Shubai also asked directly. Clone, what does this mean? Uzumaki Mito was a little confused, because she had never heard of this clone. Human cloning means that by copying a person's genes, a series of similar people can be created. If this is the case, it will be a little troublesome. Shubai also showed a suspicious look on his face. At this moment, Madara also came here. Shubai, are you back so early? How about, have you found the person you were looking for? Madara also said directly. Not yet, but there are some clues. By the way, Madara, you should also know the Ozawa clan. Do you know anything else? Shubai also asked directly. The Ozawa clan, are you talking about that family with only women? Ban asked suspiciously. Well, they are. You said this, I remembered one thing. That was when I was not the head of the Uchiha clan, I saw something about this clan record. They seem to have no fertility, and they have a patriarch named Maria Ozawa. This name is not a person's name, but everyone who becomes the patriarch will be this name. And the way they reproduce their offspring seems to be drinking water. Just drink it. Water, you can have children. Madara also said slowly. After hearing Ma's words, Shubai also got a little big head. If this is the case, the Ozawa clan is really a daughter country. In other words, wherever they go, they will need that water. At this time, a member of the Uchiha clan was in a large forest. It's so boring that I haven't encountered anything. I'm going back. Uchiha Ling hadn't encountered anything after walking around in the country of water, so she felt very boring. Do you think there are any good children who will be kidnapped by you? The mysterious ghost appeared behind Uchiha Ryo, and said slowly. Hey, Shinga, don't you know that waiting is the saddest thing? I really want time to go fast, or else it's really boring, and I really don't know what to do now. Uchiha Ling spread his hands together, Kai said helplessly. Shengu looked into Uchiha Ryo's eyes. Ling, where are Uchiha Shisui's eyes? Yeah, you said that stuff. Grass, I forgot. Uchiha Ling said suddenly, looking for Shishui's eyes, and finally took it out and looked at Shengu and said, this stuff, I used it, and I haven't paid attention to it since. If Shubai was here, he would be surprised. Because these two guys are talking about Shishui's eyes, and Shishui's mother at this time is still a cardamom girl. Shengu looked at Uchiha Ling's eyes and then at Shiluanyan and said in surprise, Ling, don't you feel anything? Feeling? What's the feeling? What's the matter? Uchiha Ling asked continuously inexplicably. He really didn't understand what happened to Shengu suddenly, and he really felt nothing strange. You fool, take it and take a look. Shengu transformed a mirror and threw it to Uchiha Ryo. And Uchiha Ling suspiciously then took a picture of himself, and froze instantly. Mom, what's going on? After Uchiha's eyes were looking at the 6 reincarnations in the mirror, his eyes were constantly changing, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 6 to 1, changing rapidly, making Uchiha Ryong's heart startled. Then Uchiha Ring was even more surprised that when he finally stopped at 6, a burst of light was emitted towards the eyes of Shisui's riding wheel. Both Uchiha Ring and Shinga watched this scene with their eyes wide open. The moment it was shot disappeared, leaving only an ordinary eyeball in Ling Feng's hand. What the hell is going on? Shinga, do you know? Uchiha Ryong looked up at Shinga. At this time, Shen Ji-yu was stunned again. Ling, your left eye, Shen Ji-yu said in surprise afterwards. Nothing will happen again, right? Uchiha Ling carefully picked up the mirror and looked at it again. Also dumbfounded. The blue riding wheel eyes. Guyu slowly appeared in Uchiha Ling's left eye, but Guyu was not black, but blue. But what surprised him was that in the back, a Guyu slowly emerged, and the second Guyu immediately followed, and then it stopped when there were 7 Guyu. The blue 7-hook jade kaleidoscope writes round eyes. Uchiha Ling was really speechless. She became like this for no reason, whether it was bad or good. Just as this mysterious Uchiha clan was changing, Shubai also found a way to find the Ozawa clan. You know, when it comes to looking for people, the Shangshilyu clan, the Inazuka clan and the Hyuga clan can be said to be masters of all middle schools. As long as you provide a little clue when you want to find someone, they can find the person for you. Not to mention, there is a living person here now. So it was only a matter of time before I wanted to find the Ozawa family. Bara, leave it to you now. Of course I will go there too. I hope you will arrange a task. The task level should be set at SS level. I will come out with the bounty, 50,000 taels. Shubai also said directly. Just as Shubai and Madara were talking about these things, each figure was approaching Uchiha Ling. It's just that at this time, both he and Shengu's attention were on their own eyes, and they didn't even notice. Ling, you try to see what you can use. Shengu returned to his senses and said to Uchiha Ling. Uchiha Ling replied, and then felt the pupil power in his left eye, very surprised. Because Uchiha Ling felt that the pupil power of this mutant Shilunian is not as good as the 6 reincarnation eyes of the right eye, but it is several times stronger than the kaleidoscope Shilunian. The thing that makes him speechless is that he has no tricks. I thought there was a great trick, God Ma Susano, God Majesty, I didn't expect that there were none at all. Hey, I'm happy for nothing. Then I can only be good looking. Uchiha Ryo said angrily. Ling, look over here, try the resistance of illusion. Shen Ji-yu said suddenly. Uchiha Ling raised his head and looked over, and suddenly found a person standing there, Uchiha Itachi. Monthly reading. Uchiha Itachi slowly spit out 2 words, but nothing happened. Yeah, it's weird, won't the monthly reading fail to launch successfully, right? Uchiha Ling asked suspiciously, looking at the surrounding scenes that did not change at all. But at this moment Uchiha Itachi's eyes began to bleed, and Uchiha Ryo knew that Yudu had started, but it had no effect on him. Ling, it seems that although you didn't get any tricks, you got the ability to immune illusions. This is an unexpected gain. Shengu clapped his hands and said happily. Immune illusion. Uchiha Ling heard it, and immediately surprised. This is not because Uchiha Ling is not surprised. After all, even his eyes of 6 reincarnations are not completely immune to illusions. However, this mutated writing wheel could make Ling Feng completely immune to illusions, so how not to surprise him? It seems that the eyes of the 6 reincarnations absorbed and transformed Shishui's writing round eyes. Uchiha Ling thought secretly. It's just that it's too abnormal. I am completely immune to illusion. Then I met a guy who specializes in illusion. Wouldn't it be a smooth journey? Don't be proud. Although it gives you the ability to be immune to illusions, it doesn't make you immune to all abilities. It's just that if you fight against Madara, you don't have to be afraid of illusions. Just be careful of other tricks. Looking at Uchiha Rinpo's face, he said immediately. Shenji Yu, gone, I still earned it today, ha ha ha. I don't know if that guy knows that the Shilunian mutation can have such an effect, will he be pissed off? It's not a waste of me to grab this eye in the first place. Uchibo Ling said with a big smile, and then hugged Shengu's thin waist and headed directly towards the place where everyone usually lived. Shenji Yu did not resist, but leaned on Ling Feng's shoulder. By the way, can't you take it back? Shengu said immediately, looking at Uchiha Ling's left eye still in that state. I don't seem to be able to take it back, no. Uchiha Ling listened to Shenhu's words, tried it for a long time without success, and finally said miserably. It doesn't matter if you can't take it back, it doesn't affect anything anyway, it's really funny. It seems I'm still lucky. This trip is really worth it, Uchiha Ling said to the God Fox, also comforting himself. Then why don't you come out more for a walk? Wouldn't it be very lucky every time? Shengu began to say jokingly. How is it possible to be so lucky every time? God Ancient, you should know the word that greedy is not enough to be greedy. Don't be so greedy, you kid, be careful of being struck by lightning. Uchiha Ling looked at it with a bitter expression. Shenhu then shook his head and said helplessly. Seeing Uchiha Ling like this, the angry god Ji Yu directly took a bite on Ling Feng's shoulder. The painful Ling Feng grinds his teeth. See if you dare to say that to me, but you are obviously greedy, but you say me. Humph. Shengu let go of his mouth, and then said loudly. Ling Feng could only comfort him slowly, and the two of them were willing to listen and the other were ready to save and go back like this. But at this moment, a strange chakra wave came. I'll just say, what's going on in this world? So it turns out that a friend came. At this moment, a super powerful chakra appeared behind Uchiha Ryo. At the same time, a pair of Guyu reincarnation eyes also appeared in front of Uchiha Ling. 6 ways. At this moment, Madara, Zujian, and Shubai all stood up. Did you feel it too? Zujian said with a nervous expression. I am familiar with this power, but I don't know where I have seen it. I feel it, it's the power of the origin. But this power is stronger than ours. Madara also said slowly. This is, East, let's go and see. Hold on. Flying Thunder God. After Shubai finished speaking, he also disappeared into Konoha in an instant, moving towards that breath. Chapter 91. Originally wanted to find the Ozawa family at this time, but after such a change occurred, Shubai also temporarily pressed this idea. After all, Minako left by herself, not taken away. So now Minako will not be a threat. As for Beidou and the others, Shubai was even more powerless, because he didn't even know the origin of these guys. Even after I went to exchange information with other ninja villages, there was nothing about it. These are all done between the pillars, and they were told to Shubai by the pillars. So the top priority now is this powerful chakra that suddenly appeared. What is it? Soon, after a few hours, Shubai also appeared at the beach. And that chakra's volatility is getting stronger and stronger. Who is actually fighting such a person? Besides, I also felt another wave of chakra, as if it belonged to the Uchiha clan. Madara also said with a look of surprise. I don't know, we can go there quickly and we will know the truth. After Shubai finished speaking, he disappeared again. At this time, Uchiha Ryo and Shinga looked at the 6 ways that appeared in front of them, and their faces also showed horror. Even at this time, one of Uchiha's eyes has evolved into a reincarnation eye, and one eye ignores illusion. But in front of the originator of the ninja, I was still a little confused. Shenji Yu, at the beginning we agreed not to participate in anything in this world. Not only are you with this young boy, but you have also changed time and space, allowing him to gain strength that he shouldn't have. Do you think I should how to do it? Lu Dao also said helplessly. 6 Dao, I couldn't beat you at the beginning, so I made this agreement with you. But now, you are just a ray of soul. Although you can return from the world of bliss, can you still prevent me from failing? Shenggu is also stable. Own emotions, said slowly. I can't stop you, but someone can. Spiritualism. After 6 Dao finished speaking, he also pressed his hand to the ground, and a huge toad appeared here. Seeing this big toad that appeared, Shenggu's face also showed a look of surprise. Toad Fairy, you or not? Shen Ji Yu, Lu Dao. Hey, really, what are you two doing? After the Toad Immortal appeared, he looked at them with helplessness. Toad Immortal, did you promise me when I went to the paradise of Elysium, if there were unstable factors in this world, you would take action? Now that ghost like Uchiha is empty, I won't talk about it, although it's a bit special, but it's not enough to influence my plan. But the gods in front of me, what do you want to do? Lu Dao said with a condemned expression. Seeing these 6 ways, Immortal Toad couldn't hold back. He did agree to 6 Dao at first, but the Toad Immortal has been busy pampering the mother toad. After all, it is very important to breed offspring. In addition, Miaomu Mountain and this place were not originally a world, so when the Toad Immortal knew the movements of the ancient gods, he was also powerless, so it's just as if I didn't see it. But what I didn't expect was that Lu Dao actually ran over by himself. Shen Ji Yu, well, did we talk about this from another place? A visitor came. As soon as Immortal Toad's voice fell, Shubai and the others also appeared here. Looking at the person in front of him, Shubai felt a sense of suffocation. He even doubted his own eyes. He actually saw Lu Dao and Immortal Toad. As for Shinga and Uchiha Rei, they have been ignored by Shubai. Shubai, do you know them? Seeing Shubai's expression between the pillars, he also asked directly. I know this big toad and that old man. As for the 2 people here, I don't know them. The big toad is the Toad Immortal of Miaomu Mountain, and it can also be said to be one of the strongest existences in the immortal. Between the pillars, you should I know how powerful immortals are. As for the other old man, his name is Lu Dao, which is the legendary Lu Dao you also know. Shubai also said everything he knew. After hearing Shubai's words, Lu Dao, Toad Immortal and Shenggu also turned their eyes to Shubai. You know, they are all hundreds of years ago. Why does this little guy in his 20s know them? I know this young man here, called Uchiha Ling. He came to challenge me before, but failed. As for the woman next to him, I don't know anymore. Madara also said slowly. At this time, everyone is as if they have been in the fixation technique, no one speaks, and no one does it. Hey, really, why did 2 things happen all at once? Immortal Toad, you said, this is the result of your supervision. Lu Dao asked again accusingly. You know me, there are 2 other guys, why don't you call out to ask? Immortal Toad was also said to be angry and roared directly. Psychic 1. At this moment, it was not Lu Dao that made a move, but Shubai made it. He also wanted to know the truth, so he directly used his own spiritism. You know, Shubai's chakra is very powerful. It is estimated that among all the people who learn the fairy mode, Shubai has obtained the most Shanshu chakra. In the next moment, 2/3 of the slug immortals were summoned. Xiaobai, did you call me here? Huh, 6, Stinky Toad, why are you all here? After the slug fairy appeared, he also found his old friends. As for what happened to the stone, Immortal Slug doesn't know at all. Slug fairy, I want to know, what is going on? Shubai also asked directly. This question made Immortal Slug also sluggish. Because of him, he really didn't know what happened. Well, you guys talk slowly, I have something to leave first. At this time, Uchiha Ling also said slowly. After saying this, he was ready to leave. Are you sure, you want to leave now? Lu Dao saw that Uchiha Ling wanted to leave here, and also instantly released the chakra from his body, and said slowly. After feeling the 6 chakras, Uchiha Ling also stopped. Seeing this scene, Shubai was even more confused. What is going on? Even now, Shubai is still in a daze. These are all legendary characters, why did you come here? Especially Lu Dao, although he knows the existence of the paradise of bliss, but without the guidance of Indra and Asura, this guy can't appear here. But this time, Zhujian and Madara are with themselves, there is no possibility of getting involved. So, where did these 6 ways come from? Wait a minute, you go back first, Lu Dao, the matter here will be handled by the smelly toad. Originally this matter was in charge of him, and I have done it. After the slug fairy finished speaking, in order not to when asked by Shu Bai, he also disappeared directly. On the other side, Lu Dao shook his head and disappeared. Seeing that both guys ran away, Immortal Toad is also helpless. It seems that this pot really has to be carried by himself. Shen Ji Yu, we are old friends too, so be it. Now there are 2 groups of people here, you and that little guy, and I and the 3 of them. We gamble, if I win, you go back obediently. If I lose, I'll be fine by myself. Before the Toad Immortal finished speaking, Shu Bai also stood up and said directly, we don't have the idea of bullying others. You are all watching between the pillars and Madara. Shu Bai also stood directly next to Immortal Toad and set his posture. Although I don't know what happened, but now the guy named Uchiha Rei is a member of the Uchiha clan. No matter what changes he has now, he still needs to be dealt with by the Uchiha clan. And Madara is the patriarch, and it doesn't look good whether he wins or wins. Therefore, Shu Bai also stood up directly. Uchihara, Shengu, right. Let's make a bet, if I win, you have to tell me what happened. If I lose, you say the conditions. Shu Bai also said domineeringly. Just kidding, even if Lu Dao is standing in front of him now, Shu Bai has the heart to fight. Not to mention, this is Uchiha Ling who once lost to Madara. You must know that you have made a tie with Zhujian and Madara's joint hands. Yes, but if we win, I want your eyes. Uchiha Ryo also said directly. At this time, Uchiha Ryo and Shinga were having a spiritual exchange. Shen Ji Yu, this person is. I don't know, there is no such a strong person in my memory. Maybe it's because you and I interfere with the rules of this world, and then Lu Dao creates a balanced person, right? Shengu also doesn't know the origin of Shu Bai. Then his eyes. The Uchiha clan who can stand up so confidently, the strength of the eyes will definitely not be weak. In addition, now that you have the pale blue eyes that ignore illusions, you will not be afraid of the Uchiha clan. Shengu said slowly too. At this time, Shu Bai was also a little surprised. This guy actually wanted his own eyes as a bet, and he had to know that his riding wheel eyes were already a kaleidoscope. He actually wants his own eyes, which means he has mastered a technique that confuses eyes. This is not the same as Danzo's transplant. The Uchiha family must use their own eyes to wash the hands of others' eyes. My eyes are okay, but I have to attach a condition. If you lose, you must not only tell us what happened, but also leave your ability to absorb pupil surgery. Shu Bai also said directly. This is natural, there is no way to stay. Uchiha Ling also said slowly. Hearing this, Shu Bai was already sure that this Uchiha Ling had such an ability. Well, let's fight. Immortal Toad, that young lady will leave it to you. It's a man, I have to go to the man. After Shu Bai finished speaking, he took out a special short sword and rushed towards Uji. Pulling. Because Shu Bai's short knife is all made of chakra metal, when he rushed over, Shu Bai also directly opened his own riding wheel, and the short knife in his hand is also covered with a large amount of thunder done, like 1,000 birds. Fire escape compared to the dragon. Uchiha Ryong also quickly released an A-level fire escape. Shui done. Incomparable shore. Shu Bai also instantly released a ninjutsu he picked up while rushing over. This only requires the direct release of Shu Bai, and it does not affect Shu Bai's actions at all. After the collision of the 2 ninjutsu, it also turned into a large mist. Lei done dark light. Uchihari also released a thunder dune in an instant. In such an environment, the effect of releasing thunder dune is the best. Both of them opened their own riding wheel and quickly avoided the other's attack. And Shu Bai also used the shadow clone technique. Now Shu Bai has a lot of chakras, and because of his talent, now Shu Bai has very strong control over chakras. Wan Ren attack. You know, Shu Bai hasn't participated in such a battle for some time. Therefore, the accumulated ninjutsu is a little too much. Next, here is the ocean turned into ninjutsu directly. This guy is really abnormal. With such an intensity of ninjutsu, it is estimated that when we collided last time, we would suffer from this. Madara said with a look of horror when he saw Shubai's battle. Hey, it is estimated that next time we compete again, we will no longer be his opponent. Zuma also said helplessly. After the smoke cleared, Uchiha Ling in the center really did nothing. At this time, his eyes also became reincarnation eyes. Because of the power of the reincarnation eye, the ninjutsu released by Shubai was completely absorbed. Although Ling is still unable to directly turn these ninjutsu into his own ninjutsu, it is still possible to invalidate them. Hey, open the eyes of reincarnation. This kid, it's interesting. At this time, Shubai was even more convinced of the guess in his heart. When he first saw this guy, Shubai had some doubts about his identity. You know, since Beidou are not people in this world, there may be openers from other worlds here. Just like Shubai, he has a system. Of course, some people do not necessarily have the system, but they may have other special abilities. Just like Ling now, it is impossible for him to gather the power of yin-yang chakra and blood to open the eyes of reincarnation. Also, Shubai had never heard of the blue Chiguyu writing round eyes. Then, he is likely to be someone from other worlds. Since you are reincarnating again, illusion and ninjutsu are probably not of much use to you. Then try to see if your physical skills are also so powerful. 8 Doors Dunjia Janmankai, Fairy Mode, God Body Mode. After seeing this situation, Shubai also released all his shadow clones, and then opened his 8-door Dunjia and 2 super modes. The immortal body is the fairy chakra obtained when he was in the wet bone forest, and the divine body is a new model developed by Shubai after the natural energy on the chakra jade obtained before. Be careful, the aura on this guy's body is a bit different. At this moment, Shenji Yu on one side saw Shubai in this state and also shouted loudly. I see. Don't be a god. After Uchiha Ring finished saying these words, he also used his own illusion in an instant, don't god. Suddenly, countless crows also flew towards Shubai. The next moment, Shubai was drawn into the illusion space. You have already lost, there is no way to crack this ninjutsu at all. As long as you are caught in this ninjutsu, your memory will be completely tampered with. Shengu said slowly when he saw this. But when Madara and Zuma on one side saw this ninjutsu, they didn't look surprised at all. Not to mention, there will be any worries. Little guy, that ninjutsu. Toad Immortal, rest assured, this ninjutsu should have no effect on Shubai. You know, I am inferior to him in terms of illusion. The most important thing is that he tampered with his memory, so will Shubai. Madara also said directly. After hearing Madara's words, Immortal Toad frowned. It seems that we really need to reduce the tricks in the room in the future. It has only been more than 100 years since I haven't paid attention to it, and so many bugs have appeared. If you let these 2 little guys grow up, maybe there will be nothing about Indra and Asura. Illusory art mind washing. After Shubai entered the illusion art space, he also directly used the heart washing art on himself. Shubai, who was about to tamper with his memory, also instantly guarded his brain. When the art of washing the heart is released to outsiders, you can view and delete memories. But when you use it on yourself, you can isolate all illusions. This is the same effect as Uchiha Ling's blue Guyu writing round eyes, except that one is an active skill and the other is a passive skill. Don't god, this is Shishui's ninjutsu. Now this is your illusion space, we 2 passers, should we have a good chat? Shubai also directly said. Are you also a traverser? After hearing Shubai's words, Uchiha Ling said with a look of surprise. It can be regarded as that, because I am also dead in the earth. Therefore, I am reborn here. What about you? Shubai asked again. Me too, you. The 2 opened the chatter box instantly, and you chatted with each other. You know, when Shubai was an elder, Uchiha Ling passed through. At that time, the Warring States period was about to end, so there has been no chance to stand out. The only time he made a big move was a fight with Madara. It's just that at that time, Shubai went to Taki no Kuni and didn't know, and Madara has never mentioned it. In fact, I found it strange very early. Uchiha is vain, there is no such person in the original anime. Why, there is such a person who influences the direction of history. Moreover, you also took away what you originally wanted. The title of the god of ninjutsu. At that time, I thought it was my appearance that caused the changes in this world. Now it seems that it is not. Uchiha Ryo also said slowly. In fact, I don't know how to say this. By the way, what are you going to do? Shubai asked again. Originally, after getting the eyes of Shishui, I was going back to challenge Madara, but now it seems that it shouldn't be necessary. It seems that the change that the old fellow Lu Dao said is us. You said, what is the purpose of this guy releasing Kagaya and locking it up again? Just catch Heiju directly, it's all right. Do you have to get a ninja fight out? Shubai also complained. It is me. In this way, when the people outside were very worried, the two of them also had a chat. A few minutes later, Shubai and Ling also left the illusion space. Okay, there is nothing left now. Immortal Toad, if you have anything to say to us alone, just say it. Shubai also said directly to Immortal Toad after leaving the illusion space. Seeing that there was nothing wrong with Shubai, Zhujian and Madara were also relieved. After all, the breath exuding from Uchiha Ling's body just now is not as powerful as usual. The Toad Immortal here has a headache. Looking at the appearance of these two guys, it is estimated that some consensus has been reached. I originally hoped that these two people could check and balance each other, but now it seems that such a plan is going to fail. Senjuzuma, Uchiha Madara, you two, avoid it first, can you? Immortal Toad also said slowly. What, you are? You wait for me between the pillars, and I want to hear what he has to say. Don't worry, I'll be fine. Shubai interrupted Madara and said slowly. After hearing Shubai's words, Madara also snorted proudly, and then the instantaneous spell disappeared. Zhu Jian also cast a careful look at Shubai, and then disappeared. After seeing both of them disappeared, Immortal Toad also turned and looked at the two in front of him. Hey, these guys have handed over the most troublesome thing to me. Really, the two who just left. The reincarnation of Indra and Asura. The reincarnation of Indra and Asura. Shubai and Uchiha Ling said in an instant. Originally letting that pillar and Madara leave was to showdown. Therefore, the two of them also directly said what they knew, but they wanted to see what the Toad Immortal wanted to say. It seems that Lu Dao's worry is justified. How did you two know about this? You know, it has been almost 800 years since Lu Dao died. And you, it looks like only 20. It's about age. Immortal Toad asked again. Well, isn't it unfair that you have been asking us all the time? We just answered one of your questions, now it's our turn to ask. Shubai did not answer, but said directly. Well, you can ask. I want to know, what are your plans? Simply wanting to seal Kagaya-ji, shouldn't it be that simple? Shubai also asked directly. After hearing Shubai's words, Immortal Toad was even more surprised. He even wanted to ask, how much do they know? But obviously, it's time for him to answer questions. Since you know Kagaya-ji, then you know that the bad old man just now is Kagaya-ji's son, right? I know, this is your second question, and we will have to ask one later. Uchiha Ling said directly. You guys really don't want to eat at a loss. Our purpose is actually very simple. Because the moon is too close to us, if there are foreigners, we will definitely contact Kagaya. If you say if Kagaya-ji continues to be sealed on the moon, then it is very likely that those outsiders who come over will discover this world. A Kagaya-ji is so difficult to deal with, if there are more powerful people, it is estimated that the world is in danger. Our goal is to completely cut off the connection with these guys, and to do this, we need a double seal to isolate the breath. Immortal Toad also said again. Shubai and Ling almost laughed after hearing the words of Immortal Toad. You know, in the latest theatrical version, an outsider named Peach Style and Gold Style appeared when Kagaya-ji was sealed for the second time. In other words, this seal has no effect at all. If the Toad Immortal didn't lie to them, then they were doing useless work. What are you two laughing at? Immortal Toad asked both with a smile when he saw them. Is this a problem? Shubai said jokingly. You continue to ask the second question you want to ask. After you ask, it's me. Immortal Toad said helplessly. Seeing the appearance of the Toad Immortal, the two wanted to laugh even more. The second question, why not choose between Indra and Asura of this generation, and postpone it later? Uchiha Ling also said slowly. You know, because of Shubai. Now the relationship between the pillars and the spots is very good. If you want to seal it again, just teach the wind element to the two directly. Why do you have to wait until Mingzuo's time? This is also a problem for the two of them. After all, Madara embarked on the road to a decisive battle with the pillars because he was betrayed by everyone. Now there is no such thing at all, so why do you say that they have affected the rules of this world? If this is really the case, then there must be some secret in it. Or in other words, this was originally a two-dimensional world created by Kishimoto. There is no reason, it's just that the appearance of Shubai and Uchiha Ling has affected the rules of this world. I don't know this. I only took on this burden because of the 6 ways of getting rid of this guy. So now you ask me why, I really can't tell. Perhaps, you can only ask for this reason. 6 ways. You know where he is. Immortal Toad also said slowly, then I should ask, what is the relationship between the two of you? Fellow. The two also replied directly. After hearing the answers from the two, Immortal Toad became a little depressed. He also knows that you are fellow villagers and belong to the same clan. What I want to ask is not this, but the private friendship between the two of you. Immortal Toad also added. Let me answer this. Uchiha and I only met today. As the elder of the Uchiha clan, it is impossible for me to remember all of them. That is, today, I know that this clan exists. As for him, he should have known me for a long time. Shubai also replied again. Hearing this answer, Immortal Toad became even more depressed. Judging from Shubai's appearance, it did not look like a lie. But in the current situation, it is not at all that two people who have just met will show up. Shen Ji-yu on one side also wanted to laugh a little, these two guys were really bad. At this time, Shen Ji-yu probably knew Shubai's identity. This is the only possibility that will make the two of them turn from a hostile state to a friend so quickly. Okay, now it's our turn. What is the relationship between your world and the world here? Shubai also slowly said. You know, Shubai has always wanted to know where this psychic beast came from. If it is inherent in this world, then why go to the world they are in will pass through a place similar to space transmission. If it weren't in this world, there would be no people in this world with their fairy magic chakras. Just like the Libra clan. It's a world, but we existed in this world before ninjutsu. The place where we are is isolated from this world. You can understand it as using a super powerful enchantment or a small world to understand. Immortal Toad also said slowly. After the two sides asked each other several times, Shubai also lost interest. Because of a lot of things, I don't care if the Toad Immortal doesn't want to say it or really doesn't know. Such information is useless at all. And after asking for so long, still don't know what Lu Dao is thinking. You know, even though this guy is in the world of bliss now, he still has been influencing the world. Therefore, Shubai also withdrew from this question and answer when the relevant information was not available. Turned around and walked to Shengu's side, because this guy had never seen him in the original work. But listening to Lu Dao and Toad Immortal, they should know each other. Sister Shengu. I'm over 1800 years old, you call me my sister. Although I am a sister, you can't be so small or small. Shengu said with a happy face. It's okay. In my eyes, beautiful women are all 18 years old. Therefore, I should call your sister when I am 22 years old. By the way, I want to know why I didn't know you existed. Shubai also directly asked his own question. At this time, Uchiha Ling was also entangled by the Toad Immortal, and there was no time to look here at all. I actually came into this world with Kagayaji, but at that time, I was not as strong as I am now. At that time, when Lu Dao was separating the 10 tails, I was also on the side to assist. Otherwise, I would be Lu Dao. He alone can't control the 10 tails. You know, even if you die in our world, the 10 tails are the ultimate weapon. At the same time, they are also the seeds we plant in every world. Shen Ji-yu also said slowly. Because Shubai called her so ecstatic, she also told Shubai some Shin Mi. Hearing this, Shubai also had some guesses in his heart. That's Lu Dao, isn't he playing the attention of other worlds, right? Then Lu Dao, why did he do this? Shubai asked again. This, I don't know. At first I thought that his purpose was to let people in this world live and work in peace. But since he established Ninzong, I knew that he didn't just want to preach and receive karma. You know, people in this world chakras are all from the sacred tree. But after some people died, they took the chakras to another world. And the chakras scattered around the world could not be collected by himself. I guess I want to be a god, a true god. Shen Ji Yu also said slowly. The real god. Is there really a god in this world? Shu Bai asked in confusion. But facing Shu Bai's question, Shengu was silent. Did not go on. You are from another world, right? Shen Ji Yu also said slowly. Yeah, Shu Bai did not deny at all, but said directly. After all, Uchiha Ring and Uchiha had already exploded their identities, so Shu Bai didn't hide anything. Two participants, shouldn't it? Shengu said, and instantly turned into a ball of light and rushed into Uchiha Ryo's body. At this time, the immortal toad also left, and Uchiha Ling came to Shu Bai's side. I met a group of people before, and they seemed to be collecting Kusana swords, do you know? Shu Bai also asked directly. Before I met a group of people who were looking for Kusanagi sword, do you know it? Shu Bai also said slowly. Looking for the Kusanagi sword. You are talking about the two pillars, the big snake pill, and the divine artifact in the hands of Itachi, Kusanagi sword. Uchiha Ling also said slowly. That's it. Although I don't know what they are looking for, but one thing is certain, this Kusanagi sword is super powerful. I have played against their members before, and they seem to have another way to use it. You can use Kusanagi sword fusion. After fusion, the strength will be greatly improved. Shu Bai said again. I haven't encountered it before, but what you said, I saw it in an ancient book. Uchiha Rei said, and walked to Shengu's side. Shengu, I remember you mentioned Kusanagi to me before. Swords. What is special about these Kusanagi swords, can you tell me about it? Shen Ji Yu on one side also heard the conversation between the two, so he also looked at Shu Bai. Ling, you just met this guy, so do you believe in him? Shen Ji Yu said with a puzzled look. Although the first person Uchiha Ling met after coming here was her, but now looking at Ling's behavior, it is almost like Shu Bai's friend for many years. And Shinga knew that Uchiha Ryo had passed through. For this Uchiha Ling, it should not be so easy to trust a person at all. Didn't I just say that? He is my fellow. The two of us are so late to meet each other. Although we didn't have much communication before, we are now very good friends. Uchiha Ling also said slowly. I really don't know what you are thinking, take it. Shengu said, took out a scroll from his white rabbit and handed it to Uchiha Ling. After getting this scroll, Uchiha Ling also returned to Shu Bai's side. That's it. I have seen the record of Kusanagi sword on this before. Because this is also considered as the artifact of the Naruto world, and I also like it better, so I also looked at it. There are records on it. There were 13 handles in total. The Kusanagi sword, but 6 of them form the Liuhei Big Formation, which seems to have sealed some powerful existence. As for the remaining 7, they are Muramasa, Shaquan sword, Thunder Snake, Baikai, Yaduo, and Zanlong with Tamarin. 10-fist sword and razor are the 2 handles of Itachi God and Oshimaru. As for the others, I don't know. As Uchiha said, he passed the scroll in his hand to Shu Bai. After Shu Bai took the scroll in his hand, he opened it directly. Above half, slaughter the gods and slaughter the Buddha. The soul of Kusanagi lives forever in the world. The first sentence of the opening is this. Although Shu Bai doesn't know what it means, literally speaking, it means that with more than half of the grass blades, it can slaughter the gods and the Buddha. In addition to the following record, there was a 6-handed grass Naginata sword to seal a god called Huang. The remaining 7-handed grass Naginata sword was lost. So the purpose of these guys, is it to gather all the remaining Kusuna swords, and then go to slaughter the gods and the Buddha. You know, because of their dedication to Kusanagi sword, they must have a different purpose. I had a Kusana sword, Muramasa. However, it was snatched by the organizer I said. His name is Beidou, and his partner is Qingshan. And he learned that it is an organization with a total of 7 people. Then, do you think these 7 people have anything to do with this 7-handed grass Naginata sword? Shu Bai also said slowly. After hearing what Shu Bai said, Uchiha Ling was also a little puzzled. After all, in the original book, the only one who collects Kusanagi sword is Oshimaru. Moreover, I don't know what the purpose of this guy is. Now that Shu Bai said this, it seems that there are still very funny and unknown things in this world, waiting for them to explore. Okay, let's go back first. By the way, are you going to go back with me, or continue to be outside by yourself? Shubai remembered that if this guy is also a traverser, then people might have their own needs. Things to do. I'll go back with you. I haven't returned to Konoha for a few months. I still have some thoughts. Uchiha Ling also said slowly. After hearing Uchiha Ring's words, Shubai didn't have any doubts. Leaving aside others, he himself, as a traverser, also has feelings for everyone here. Do you have any family members? Shubai asked again. Yes, it's a person you are familiar with. That is, Uchiha Tomatake. This guy is my brother. Uchiha Ryo also said slowly. After hearing Uchiha Ring's words, Shubai's face also showed a funny look. Uchiha Tomatake, isn't this guy the father of God Itachi and Urzuzi? In other words, Uchiha Ryo is the uncle of Nizuzi and Itachi God. It's pretty good, your two nephews are both very powerful. Shubai also said with a smile. What's so powerful? I am troubled by this now. Itachi God and Nizuzi's mother Uchiha Makoto are in love with me, and I don't know what to do now. If I refuse her, I won't affect them. Was born, but if I, an outsider, caused emotional trauma to Uchiha Makoto, what should I do if she doesn't believe in love? At that time, Itachi God and Nizuzi will not be there anymore. If I agree, the same consequences, Uchiha Ling said with an uncomfortable expression. After hearing Uchiha Ring's words, Shubai almost didn't laugh. You know, Itachi God and Urzuzi are both popular characters in Naruto, and both Shubai and Uchiha Ryo want to meet these two guys. But now, encountering such a thing, it really makes people a little bit dumbfounded. Well, this is why you are always outside, right? I teach you a way. First, you have to make your stupid brother stronger. Then, practice with him and let him face Uchiha Makoto. The face defeats you. The most important thing is that you need some external force. At that time, you need a beautiful woman to come to you faster than Uchiha Makoto and help you up. Under such a double blow, Uchiha Makoto, I will definitely abandon you and choose your stupid brother. Shubai also said slowly. After hearing Shubai's words, the two also turned their gazes aside. Shenji Yu. What do you two look at me doing? Although I meet the requirements of the beautiful women you said, I don't like this guy. Shengu said with a proud face. Hey, let's just say, it's okay. Go back. Madara, between the pillars. Shubai said here, also raising his own voice. At the next moment, Madara and Zuma also appeared beside Shubai. After you go back, it's best to explain to me exactly what happened. After Madara finished speaking, he also left with a black face. I want to know this too, so there is no way to help you, go back. After speaking between the pillars, there was no action. After a few seconds, Madara came back again. It's your flying thunder god, you guys, you don't know how to be more conscious, and go back quickly. There are 3 days left for the general election, and I have to go back and prepare for it. Madara said again. Ha 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 ha. After hearing Madara's words, everyone also laughed. Even Uchiha Rei and Shinga on one side laughed. After all, they all knew Shubai's character. In other words, this guy is guilty of Tsunere disease. Okay, let's go back. After Shubai finished speaking, he also imprinted all 4 of them, and then took them out of here. After they all left, Immortal Toad, Lu Dao, Immortal Slugs and Beilong obviously appeared here. Lu Dao, it seems that you can't stop it. Do you want to plan ahead? Bai Long also said directly. No, let's continue like this. By the way, Bai Long, hey Ju. It's arranged. I'll go back to sleep first. When I need me, come find me again. After Bai Long finished speaking, he also disappeared. The others also disappeared after a little thought. Soon, because when Shubai came here before, he left a mark all the way, and this time I will go back soon. After just 10 hours, they also returned to the country of fire. No, it's harder to bring the 4 of you back than with a 4-headed beast. Shubai said with a grumbling expression after he stopped. You know, Shubai has a lot of chakras. But that's it, with these 4 guys, it's almost burdened. I don't know how much they are running with all their strength. Just now when he returned to the land of fire, Shubai found that his chakra was about to run out. Aren't you good at it? It seems that you can't do it sometimes. Madara said with a grin. Hey you guy, come here. Come and drive Susanna Nohu and take the 4 of us. Let me see how far you can run. Also, the four of you don't know how to condense your energy. It's almost running with a few big mountains. Shubai also went back in shock. In fact, we don't want to activate energy, but when the space moves, our body involuntarily releases energy, protecting us from being cut by the space. Uchiha Ling also said helplessly. You %, forget it, let's not talk to you. Let's have a try now to see who returns to the village first. The bet is 10,000 gold, will you come? Shubai also said with a smile. Well, compare it, you are like this now, wait to lose money. Ban also agreed with a sip of wine. Bara, this guy is obviously fishing, you believe this too? Uchiha Ling said helplessly. On one side of the pillars, there was no direct agreement. Seeing that only Maiden was fooled, Shubai was also a little helpless. What's the matter? I'm scared even if I'm half disabled. Shubai added another fire. I don't believe it. There is no way you can reach full state instantly. I agree. Uchiha Ryo also agreed directly. It seems that a child is a child and cannot be irritated. As for Madara and Shengu, they withdrew directly and became referees for them. I set off first with the pillars. When we get to the position after more than half of the time, we will use this firework bug as a signal. As long as your firework bug blows up, it will be the flare gun to start the departure. After Shengu finished speaking, it was the same. Directly and Zujian left here. 3 hours after the two left, the firework bugs left here also exploded instantly. Uchiha Ling and Uchiha Madara rushed out instantly, and Shubai also raised his hand and said a solution. The next moment, he also disappeared here directly. Shen Ji-yu, who do you think the three of them will win? Asked between the pillars as he hurried to the village. I think it should be Shubai. Although I don't know why, since he dared to make this request, he must have his own confidence. Moreover, he is also the only one who makes me unable to see through. Shengu said slowly too. I also think that Elder Shubai will win, but I still don't know what method this guy will use to win the game. Zhu Jian also said puzzledly. Time slowly passed, and Shijian and Shengu also saw Konoha's village. Okay, we're almost there. Then we'll wait. After Zhu Jian said this, she was stunned for a moment, because in his perception, he found a person who could not be here. What's wrong between the pillars? You stopped suddenly. After seeing the pillars stopped, Shen Ji-yu also stopped his footsteps and asked suspiciously. Well, Shen Ji-yu, am I dazzled? Look, is that Elder Shubai? Raising his hand between the pillars, he pointed to Shubai who was standing in front of the opposite village door. After seeing Shubai standing there, Shengu was also surprised. You know, they can leave 3 hours earlier than Shubai and the others. Even if Shubai is good at speed, he can't be so fast, right? Moreover, there is no such thing as weakness in Shubai in front of him, he is in full state. Oh, you guys are finally back. I've been waiting for you here for a while, what are you doing? Shubai also said jokingly. After hearing Shubai's words, the two of them knew that both Ban and Ling had been cheated by this guy. At this time, Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Ling were still running fast to the village. They also arrived here when they were more than 2 years old. But looking at Shubai, who was already chatting with them, they knew that they had lost. Shubai, isn't you guy behind us? Why did you come to the front? Madara also asked with a puzzled look. I am behind you. At this moment, another Shubai also appeared behind the two of them and said slowly, and this Shubai disappeared directly after saying this sentence. Seeing this scene, Madara and Ling also looked dull. Elder Zubai, don't tell me. This time you went out to face this kind of battle, and you always used a clone. And, this clone took us and ran so far. In the end, you also competed with us. Now, Uchiha Rinpo on one side also said slowly. That's not the case, I just left a clone to make you feel like I'm going to win. In fact, my ontology has surpassed you and returned here. Shubai also explained directly, right, by the way, my strength has no effect. At this time, the two also knew that they had been tricked. Although very reluctant, they fulfilled their betting agreement and handed 10,000 taels to Shubai. And Shubai took the money and disappeared directly. Really, I won't bet with this guy again in the future, I have done so many tasks to accumulate money. Uchiha Ling said with a sad expression. Yeah, and Madara nodded in agreement. At this time, Shubai also came to a house. Bang bang bang. Shubai directly raised his hand and knocked on the door of the room. Come in, the door is unlocked. An old voice came from the room. Shubai felt sour after hearing this voice. After forcibly stabilizing his emotions, Shubai also opened the door of the room and walked in directly. Teacher, I came to see you. Shubai came to the front of a man and knelt down and said slowly. Well, I know. Come to find me, what can I do? I have nothing to teach you now, Elder Shubai. The man in front of him is Uchiha Natsumi's father, Uchiha Oki. As Shubai's teacher, he was also very sad because of what happened. A person who was very capable at first became like this in a short period of time. This is far from the Uchiha Oki in Shubai's heart, but I don't know how far away. Teacher, I have found a way to resurrect Fatty and Big Brother. So ask the teacher to give me time, and I will surely let us reunite again. I don't hope that when Fatty comes back, you will be gone, teacher. Shubai also told his secret directly. I was in a state similar to yours at first, but after I found this method, I have been looking for it. So teacher, you have to cheer up. After hearing Shubai's words, those eyes that were already a little muddy also showed radiance in an instant. What did you say? In the next moment, the kaleidoscope writing wheel was also directly released. I said, Shubai also said what he had just said again. After getting an affirmative answer, the lifeless spirit on Uchiha Oki's body also slowly dissipated. Soon, the depressed old man here disappeared, replaced by a capable man. Shubai, forgive me for just. Teacher, I understand you better than anyone else. Okay, here is 5,000 taels. You can use it first. Now that your apprentice is promising, you won't have to do tasks in the future. The most important thing is to adjust yourself. Body, here is another 5,000 taels. I hope you can bring this to Uchiha Luyan's father in the next life. I see. The two talked until the evening when Shubai left here. After returning home, he found that Madara and his sister are now regulars here. Second sister Zukin, sister Zunai, mother, I'm back. As for Madara, what are you doing here for me? Shubai turned to look at Madara with disgust after asking his relatives first. What class? I'm your brother-in-law. Also, why are we all in the same family, so the difference is so big? Madara said with a gloomy expression. It's actually very simple. Look, your name is Madara, and our names are Zukin, Zunai, and Zubai. When I hear this, I know that we are going to kiss a little bit. I'm hungry, sister, are you ready for dinner? Shubai also ignored Spot, and said directly, just know to eat, it's ready. Come and eat. In this way, the family happily went to dinner. Of course, there is one unhappy one, which is Madara. Time passed slowly, and 3 days later it was time for the general election. At this time, Shubai also put on his elder clothes and sat in his own position. After 3 years, we are reunited here again. During these 3 years, with the leadership of Uchiha Madagascar, we Konoha are also strong and prosperous. Now it's the 3-year period, and now it's up to the whole village. Vote, elect the next Hokage. Everyone has the right to vote, and now we have candidates. Senjuma, Uzumaki Changwon, Uchiha Madara and Sasuke. At this time, Shubai also acted as an announcer. After all, your reporter asked for leave before, so now only Shubai will do this task. Next, the voting begins, and we are still under the real name system. Hello everyone, I abstained. At this moment, Uchiha Madara also stepped up and said slowly, in fact, I have been wondering before, whether I am suitable for Hokage. In my 3 years, I fully felt the deeds. What a Hokage needs to face. And I am still suitable to be a sharp claw. As for the leader, I have no way to be competent. After hearing Uchiha Madara's words, everyone was surprised. You know that with the current Uchiha clan, wanting to be re-elected is basically a matter of the class. But he didn't expect that Madara would withdraw. Well, everyone doesn't care about this Madara who has given up the position of Hokage. Now, let's start voting. Shubai also shouted directly. After hearing Shubai's words, everyone laughed. The originally strange atmosphere was also destroyed by Shubai's voice. Coupled with Shubai's identity, no one would say anything. You know, Shubai is the great elder and a member of the Uchiha clan. Everyone quickly wrote the Naruto candidates in their hearts on their paper, and then walked to the ballot box and cast them down. After an hour, everyone cast their vote. Starting statistics now. 1 vote between the 1,000 hands column, 1 vote between the 1,000 hands column, 1 vote between the 1,000 hands, 1 vote from the Sarutoi Patriarch, 1 vote between the 1,000 hands. 1 vote among the 1,000 hands pillars. 1 vote among the 1,000 hands pillars. Okay, I don't need to read the final statistics. Of course, if you want to find a torturer, I can talk to you. Shubai also looked at the other candidates with a smile on his face. People. No matter how you look at it, the column is elected. I don't need to read the specific number of votes. Sensho Kenma also said with a helpless expression. Although he has the right and qualifications to participate in the election, the current number of votes is not a little different from that of the pillars. We are the same, no need to read it out. The others also nodded and went straight back to their seats. There was only one person left standing on the stage. Now, we will give the present stage to the 1,000 hands Zuma who believes in Shinai, our second-generation Naruto master. Everyone, warm applause, Shubai said, also taking the lead in applauding. The audience also burst into applause. You know, most of the people here have been blessed by the pillars. Moreover, no matter whether it is strength or being in the world, Zujien is very good and powerful. So the election between the pillars can be said to be what the people want. Be quiet, everyone, I don't know what to say. But here, I can only assure you that I will use my own efforts to make Konoha more harmonious and powerful. Said Zujien. After that, he also bowed deeply. The next step is the dressing ceremony of the Hokage. This Hokage needs to be worn by the previous generation of Hokage himself for the second generation of Hokage. Madara also came to the stage with the Hokage robe belonging to the pillars, and put it on for him himself. In the column, Konoha's burden will be handed over to you in the future. If you need it, please send it at any time. Madara also said with a sincere expression. If someone else was elected this time, maybe Madara would not be so friendly. However, the one who was elected is a good friend of his, that is simply 100% support. You guy, you can finally be lazy, right? The pillars also scolded with a smile. Seeing the pink bubbles rising continuously, Shubai didn't know what to do. After all, such a scene is the favorite of Naruto fans like him. Okay, Hokage-sama, is there something that I forgot to say? At this moment, Shubai had to interrupt their basic rot and said directly. After hearing Shubai's words, Zujien also remembered that he still had one thing to do. By the way, because of the last incident, we Konoha became very weak. But thanks to the unremitting efforts of Hokage Uchiha Madara, we are not afraid of hardships. Let us Konoha get a long respite. Now, I want to redesignate some elders and positions. The family positions that did not join this before remain unchanged. The rest, Uchiha Ryo, appoint you as the second Konoha elder. Mainly responsible for the high-end combat power of the strong when fighting. Inazuka Linbi, as the current patriarch, you are still assisting the Hyuga clan together with Uenomura. The position is the same as your families before. Soon, Zujien also arrange the dance of the families. Up. The 1,000 hand pillars, the 1,000 hand pillars, the 1,000 hand pillars. The 1,000 hand pillars, the 1,000 hand pillars, the 1,000 hand pillars. The 1,000 hand pillars, the 1,000 hand pillars, the 1,000 hand pillars. After hearing the arrangement of the Senjutsu, Suyojun made a loud shout. They were all cheering for the magnanimity between the pillars, and at the same time, they were still fortunate that they had such a patriarch. Today, we are the beginning of a new year. Our goal is to become the most powerful ninja village in the country of fire. Zujien also said again. The strongest, the strongest, the strongest. After finishing the things here, everyone left the square directly. There is one person left between the pillars here to deal with the baptism of all the villagers. Of course, the way to choose is to gradually drink the least good at. So seeing this scene, only Madara stayed with him, Shubai and Uchiha Ling both left. You said, now Madara has a character like this, how can he still fight the life and death battle between the pillars? And now that you and I are here, it is even more unlikely that such a thing will happen. Uchiha Ryo also said slowly. What you said, I actually thought about it. But in the end I gave up because I couldn't think about anything. Okay, let's take a step and take a step. We originally came through it. The biggest bug in this world is us. And the butterfly effect, our appearance, should also have some changes to this world. By the way, your ninjutsu. No, you guys' abilities are too abnormal. I don't want to copy my hardworking ninjutsu, let you directly copy it. Uchiha Ling also interrupted Shubai's words directly, with a positive expression on his face. Said. But Shubai still looked at Uchiha Ling with a smile. Finally, Uchiha Ling also succumbed. I used some of my own special ninjutsu. Even Chigoyu's ignorance magic technique was used. Shubai also unceremoniously picked up these ninjutsu. To be honest, Shubai is also a little tired of the ninjutsu that has been picking up Zujian and Madara. Just like every meal is the same, no matter how delicious it is, there will be a day of boredom. What's more, Shubai is a chakra who is proficient in 5 attributes. Therefore, what Shubai needs is a variety of ninjutsu and chakra changes. Although he already had the training experience of the Sarutobi clan, Shubai still wanted to get in touch with some powerful ninjutsu. Congratulations to the host for upgrading to level 11 and getting the upgrade spree. At this moment, Shubai's level was finally upgraded to level 11. You know, it has been GUO for several years, and finally it has reached the 11th level. You know, during this period, Shubai still used the experience promotion card. Otherwise, you will have to wait longer. If you didn't pick it up continuously, you would get something similar to the sign-in gift pack, but if you could only use hard steel, it is estimated that Shubai is still at level 10 at this time. Thinking of this, Shubai also directly opened his panel. Host: Shubai Uchiha Shubai. Age: 22. Pickup level 11. Pickup times per day 0. Pickup experience: 1,258,000. Chakra: 2,789,000. Super Shadow level 6 Dao level. Physical skills: 3,802,000. The strength evaluation is Super Shadow level 6th level. Master Ninjutsu: Instant Shuriken, Shuriken Elite, Shadow Clone, Fire Dun Little Fire Snake, Fire Dun Flame of Annihilation, Fire Dun Blasting Bird, Suzano Nohu, Thunder Dun Kirin, Wind Dun Helix Pill. Ninjutsu to be mastered. Roll Eyes, Progress 9100ths. Blood following the boundary. Writing Round Eyes, Bone Veins, Ice Escape. Pickup attributes today, 0/30ths. Warehouse. S-Class Ninjutsu Thunder Dungeon Dark Thundercrow, Thunder Dungeon Blue Dragon Break, Fire Dungeon Sky Flame Explosion. A-Level Ninjutsu. Fire Dun Fire Dragon Swallowing, Fire Dun Beard Hand. B-Level Ninjutsu Fire Escape Fire Extinguishing 16, Fire Escape Super Phoenix Fire Technique 1-5, Fire Escape True Fire Extinguishing 2, Insect Technique Eavesdropping Insect 1, Insect Technique Parasite 2, Insects Explosive Insects 2. Special items: Shanshu Chakra 21. Equipment: Kusunaru Sword Village Masaru. Talent: Excellent Forging Talent, Excellent Talent for Comprehending Ninjutsu, Medium Talent for Creating Ninjutsu. Seeing this, Shubai was also a little surprised. Wasn't your Kusunaru sword robbed? Why did it still appear on your panel? Here, Shubai also tentatively stretched out his hand and took the Sao Sword Village down. Seeing that Muramasa really appeared in his hands, Shubai's face also showed a look of surprise. After all, what was originally lost is now back in my own hands, which is simply amazing. If it wasn't for me to upgrade my level now, I just wanted to talk about it. I guess at this time, I don't know that he can use the system to get his Kusana sword back. It was at this time that Beidou in a claustrophobic space was wiping the village in his hands. The next moment, the village directly disappeared. After discovering that the village in his hand was disappearing, Beidou also stood up instantly. Who is it? Who stole my Kusunaru sword? Who is it? Beidou also roared after standing up. After hearing Beidou's voice, Qingzan also appeared in front of Beidou. What's the matter with you, yelling? Didn't you already get your Kusunaru sword? What else? Qingzan said with a dissatisfaction. You know, Qingshan and Beidou are a combination, except for the boss Tiangong who has no combination, the rest of them all have their own slapped partners. And Qingzan's partner is Beidou, but Qingzan has not been very satisfied with this partner. My Kusunaru sword is gone. Just now, he was still in my hand. But without any warning, he disappeared. I didn't even feel the slightest spatial fluctuation, but just felt a little rule. Power, Beidou also said directly. After hearing Beidou's words, Qingzan also frowned. You know, Qingzan knows it. Because of their particularity, they have a keen sense of Kusanagi sword. In addition to the relative Kusunaru sword, as long as it is obtained, there is no possibility of being taken away. Unless the host has died, this sword may be lost. But now Beidou is still standing here, that is to say, I don't know who passed a powerful ability and directly took the Kusana sword here. Although I don't know why, at this moment, a smiling face appeared in Qingzan's mind. That's Uchiha's false white. Don't worry, just feel it. Can you find the specific location of Kusunaru's sword now? Qingzan also said again. Yes, how did I forget? I will try first to see if I can find the exact location of the village. After Beidou finished speaking, he also closed his eyes. When Beidou opened his eyes, his face also showed an uncomfortable and happy look. Where, did you find it or did you not find it? Your expression is so rich, I can't guess whether you found it or not. Qingzan also said slowly. Hey, I found it. But now we probably won't come back with this sword. His current position is in Konoha. In other words, this sword is probably the one we fought with him before. The Uchiha who used to take it. Although I don't know what method he used, it is now equal certain that we are not his opponents for the time being. Beidou also said with a look of disappointment. After hearing Beidou's words, Qingzan also showed a look of surprise. I didn't expect that my guess was correct. Suddenly, the two fell silent. And at this time, in Konoha. This is the Kusunaru sword you said was taken away. Seeing the long sword that suddenly appeared in Shubai's hand, Uchiha Ling said with a look of surprise. Well, this is my Kusana sword before. Although I don't know the reason, it seems that I can summon him at any time. Shubai said, and also directly included the Kusana sword in his personal space. After all, this thing is still very important. You know, it's better to keep the things that even powerful people like the Big Dipper would want to take away from them. Do you have any special ability besides being able to copy other people's things? Uchiha Ling looked at Shubai and asked in confusion. Yes, I have other abilities, that is, I am particularly handsome. Shubai also showed his white teeth and said slowly. After hearing Shubai's words, Uchiha Ling also shook his head and left directly. After Uchipolian left, Shubai also took out the upgrade package he had just obtained. System, we are good friends, aren't we? Open a gift package for me this time, but I have to work harder. Shubai also said slowly. Please confirm whether to open the upgrade spree. The voice of the system machinery also came out directly, without answering Shubai's words at all. You know, after the system proactively prompted Shubai last time, he has never had a conversation with Shubai. Although Shubai doesn't know what's going on, Shubai is very grateful for the last system prompt. If it weren't for the systematic sentence, it is estimated that Shubai would have been blackened at this time. The legendary battle of End Valley was not Madara and Zuma, but Shubai and the two of them. Confirm to open the upgrade spree. Shubai also said directly. Congratulations to the host for getting the smile of the goddess of life. After using it, you can directly resurrect people. At this moment, Shubai's ear also sounded a system prompt. Hearing this, Shubai also stood up all at once. The smile of the goddess of life. You know, Shubai has always wanted his two brothers to be resurrected. This time a prop similar to the resurrection was finally released. But, who should I resurrect first? No matter who was resurrected, Shubai felt sorry for the other person. It doesn't matter, let's grab the lottery. Whichever is caught, the one will be resurrected first. After Shubai finished speaking, he took out 2 pieces of paper and wrote the names of Uchiha Natsumi and Uchiha Luyan on them respectively. Then he crumpled the 2 pieces of paper into 2 balls and threw them directly on the ground. Uchiha Natsumi. Shubai picked up the paper ball on the ground again, and opened the inside of Uchiha Natsumi. After seeing this familiar name, Shubai also disappeared directly into the house. When Shubai appeared again, he was already in front of Uchiha Natsumi's grave. He directly poured the smile of the goddess of life in his hand into the tomb, waiting for the return of the fat, at this time, the world of bliss. Unexpectedly, after we came into this world, we could meet again. By the way, would you say that second brother would find a way to resurrect us and resurrect us again? Uchiha Natsumi also said slowly, after all, the second brother gave me the technique of reincarnating from the dirty soil. In other words, as long as there is enough time, the second brother will definitely find a way to stay us back, right? After hearing Uchiha Natsumi's words, Uchiha Luyan on one side also nodded with a smile. Hey, I know that the eldest brother also believes in the second brother very much. There is just one thing, what is the origin of the guy who killed us in the first place? We have not seen it clearly at all, we died. Uchi Boxiamu also said blankly. He has been in this world for 2 years, and finally found Uchiha Luyan. Now that the two brothers have met, there is still a lot to say. I don't know. The ninjutsu and other abilities he uses are all I haven't seen at all. Don't say I have seen it, even if I heard it, I haven't heard it. Uchiha Luyan also slowed down. Said slowly, yes, I don't know if the second brother can retreat all over when facing that guy. Uchiha Natsumi also said with a worried expression. At this moment, an aperture suddenly appeared beside Uchiha Natsumi. In the next moment, Uchiha Natsumi also disappeared directly. Can it be said that he reincarnated to pull the fat? Looking at the disappearing Uchiha Natsumi, Uchiha Luyan also stood up instantly and said with a look of confusion. He didn't reincarnate, but was resurrected. At this moment, a voice came into Uchiha Luyan's ears. You don't need to know who I am, but... When Uchiha Luyan met a mysterious person, Shubai also saw movement in the grave. Shubai opened his writing wheel in an instant, and saw Uchiha Natsumi slowly crawling out of it. Seeing this scene, Shubai opened the tomb here in an instant, and directly pulled Uchiha Natsumi out. Welcome back, fatty. After seeing his good brother resurrected, Shubai's face was also covered with tears in an instant. Second brother, I am. Could it be that I am resurrected? Uchiha Natsumi also couldn't believe it, and said with a dazed expression. Although he didn't know what happened, Shubai rushed to Uchiha Natsumi's side and hugged him. 1. Second brother, you wait, I am a little out of breath. Second brother, what is going on? Could it be that you have really found a way to resurrect us? And I felt it a bit, my body is my body, and there is no trace of rebirth from the dirty soil at all. In other words, I am really resurrected. Uchiha Natsumi also said with a look of surprise. Yeah, you are really resurrected. Although I can only resurrect you alone for the time being. But I believe that I can also resurrect Big Brother soon. Shubai said excitedly. Although Shubai has not found Ozawa Monako yet, he has resurrected one of his brothers, and Shubai is also very satisfied. Only I can be resurrected. In other words, the eldest brother. Big brother, he will stay there for a while. Shubai also said directly. After all, there is nothing to conceal about these things, just tell them directly. But, well, I know you want to ask why you resurrected you first. First of all, what you see is that there are 2 paper balls on the ground, which I just used for the lottery. In other words, I am not because of your personality charm. Such things choose to save you first. So, put away the superiority of your face as soon as possible. Shubai also said directly. I thought the second brother liked me more. Really, hee. After hearing Shubai's words, Uchiha Natsumi also said with disappointment. In fact, at this time, Uchiha Natsumi felt very relieved. Because as long as Shubai's feelings for their brothers are the same, he will be most satisfied. Well, let's go back and say hello to your family. Now your identity is a dead person, so you have no identity. It's most convenient to do something. So, I've seen after visiting the teacher and your family, immediately come to my house to find me. After Shubai said these words, a flying thunder god returned to his home. After Shubai made the fire at home, he also made a pot of good tea. When the tea was boiling, Uchiha Natsumi also came to Shubai's house. Second brother, I'm back. I think about it, but I don't want to see them anymore. If you say that children's songs have important things to do to me, the most important thing is to keep my life alive secret. Uchiha Natsumi also said directly. Seeing this guy's appearance, Shubai's heart also felt inexplicable palpitations. Well, in this case, I can rest assured. This is the country of water, and the people of the Shui Wuyu clan are here. I need you to sneak in and help me find out the location of the guy who killed you before. Shubai also said directly, by the way, if I can, I want to get a village or country of my own in the water country. This glorious. Okay, don't give me a high hat. I just agreed directly. When will I? Let's go now. Now because of the succession of Hokage between the pillars, the village's defenses are not so strict. So, let's go now. Shubai also said slowly. After hearing Shubai's words, Uchiha Natsumi also left with an unhappy expression. Under the leadership of Shubai, Uchiha Natsumi was soon escorted out of the village. After all, Shubai has something to do, and other people are not qualified to stop it. Even if the Anbu minister Chinshojian was here, he could only let Shubai take his people away. Therefore, the Anbu here did not report to it. After sending Uchiha Natsumi to the border of the fire country, the two also removed their cloaks. Second brother, we must resurrect the eldest brother quickly. He is alone in the Elysium. Without me chatting with him, he would be very lonely. Uchiha Natsumi also said slowly. I know, as long as there is a way to activate that technique, I will resurrect my eldest brother as soon as possible. Shubai also agreed directly. After getting Shubai's affirmative answer, Uchiha Natsumi also nodded, put on his cloak again, and directly boarded Shubai's prepared boat. This time, I don't know how long it will take to come back. However, the current Uchiha Natsumi's strength is almost reaching the shadow level. In addition, he also has a forbidden technique Dirty Rebirth, which is not much different from the shadow grade. Therefore, Shubai was relieved to let Uchiha Natsumi go to the land of water alone. After taking care of Uchiha's Natsumi affairs, Shubai also looked behind him. Come out, it's really hard for you to follow me here. Shubai also said directly behind him. Great Elder. At this moment, an Anbu member of the Shangshilyu clan slowly appeared in front of Shubai, composed of countless insects. Why come with me, Shangshui Lubedu? Shubai also recognized this guy, the elder of the Shangshilyu clan, Shangshui Lubedu. Shubai met him when he went to regain their family before. Therefore, he can still feel the breath on his body now. Minister, okay, I see. You go back, you can also talk to the door of the matter here. Forget it, I will go back with you. Shubai said, also walked directly to Shangshui Lu Baidu's side, grabbing he directly used the technique of Flying Thunder God. Soon, they also returned to the village again. Inside the Anbu base. I'm waiting here, you go find the door. Shubai also went directly to the secret base. Originally, this place was kept secret, but for Shubai, Konoha had no secrets. Seeing Shubai coming here so familiarly, Shangshui Lubedu was also very surprised. You know, even he doesn't know the situation very well. Only when you come into contact with a certain task, you will come here. Boom. 10 minutes later, Chinsho Janma also came here, opened the door directly and walked in. Fangjan, let's talk about it, what's the matter? By the way, it was not Shangshui Lubedu who brought me here. I knew it existed a long time ago. Shubai also said with a smile. You all go out. Chinshojian walked slowly to the opposite of Shubai, and said directly after sitting down. After hearing what Feijian said, all the Anbu members also left directly. Moreover, everyone was relieved when they left. After all, it is not someone else who is sitting here now, it is Konoha's great elder, a superb existence. If they were to face this kind of existence, it would be like cannon fodder. Elder Zubai, when did you discover this place? Ask the first sentence directly. When you first had this idea, I knew it. You need to know, who pushed you to this position in the first place? Shubai also said slowly. In fact, Shubai almost believed that this guy would not think about those conspiracies and tricks before. But after seeing this facility appeared, Shubai also understood. It seems that it is basically impossible for him to change the general trend of the world alone. Therefore, after being followed by people from Onbi this time, Shubai also came here directly. You don't need to talk about politeness and cover. You should know that I want to see the truest thoughts in your heart. It won't be very difficult. So, if you still want to keep concealing things, then do a good job and I'm ready to fight. Shubai also interrupted directly. Hearing this, there was also silence. Because what he is going to do now is not visible. However, he couldn't beat Shubai again, and he really didn't know what to do for a while. You don't need to talk about politeness and cover. You should know that I want to see the truest thoughts in your heart. It won't be very difficult. So, if you still want to keep concealing things, then do a good job and I'm ready to fight. Shubai also interrupted directly. Hearing this, there was also silence. Because what he is going to do now is not visible. However, he couldn't beat Shubai again, and he really didn't know what to do for a while. Well, isn't it just some special experiments? Although I don't like these things very much, it is undeniable that without people like you, it is impossible to progress in the ninja world. Just ask in a moment, and now it has been studied. Has it reached the point of resurrecting the human body? Shubai also said directly. Forget the time, this time is almost the time for the rebirth of the dirty soil to come out. Although both Uchiha Natsumi and Shubai have mastered this ninjutsu, Uchiha Luyan has just learned it. But only the three of them and Madara knew about this. After all, it was such a technique, how could it be easily leaked out? Therefore, Phaegian should be studying the rebirth of the dirty soil at this time. That's why, after Onbi discovered that Uchiha Natsumi was resurrected, he would risk finding someone to follow Shubai. How do you know? She stood up instantly and said directly. Actually, this technique, I can. Moreover, I gave him a name, Rebirth of Dirty Soil. After Shubai finished speaking, he also wrote the chapter of Rebirth of Dirty Soil separately, including how to make a seal and what is needed as a medium. The most important thing is that Shubai wrote about the reincarnation of the dirty soil after it was improved. After finishing writing, Shubai also directly handed the information in his hand to Chinshojian. Looking at the information Shubai handed over, he also caught it directly. Time slowly passed, and after reading the information Shubai gave him several times, he just sat down on the chair. This is the rebirth of the dirty soil, which is consistent with the direction of my research. I didn't expect that Elder Zubai not only surpassed me in strength, but also surpassed me even in the research and development of ninjutsu. Suddenly there was a thought. Kind of a great sense of loss. You know, he began to study this ninjutsu during the ninja war. But after so many years, his progress has just ended. And it's still the most basic version. Compared with what Shubai gave him, he was simply a babbling child. I'm giving you this because this ninjutsu requires a large number of living people as sacrifices during the research. Although you capture some rebelliousness, in the end this ninjutsu is too cruel. That's why I will use this. I'll give you the research information. But you don't have to be discouraged. This ninjutsu was not researched by me, but I got it accidentally. For more forbidden techniques development, you still have to work harder. Shubaijian hit his enthusiasm in the interim, also explained. Although it was very cool to see this scene, Shubai was not willing to see it because it made the ninja world so much less. Why are you telling me this? Janjian said with a look of confusion. Because, I have regarded you as a partner. Therefore, I hope you can also regard all of us as partners. Shubai disappeared directly after saying this. Seeing the chair Shubai was sitting on, he was stunned. At the next moment, all the materials in the hands of the door were scattered on the ground. Partner, really, a very reliable word. He laughed at himself, and his face returned to his previous sharpness. And Shubai, after leaving here, also went to Uchiha Ling. After all, it is this guy who mainly provides him with loot now. As for why Shubai did this time, one is that he doesn't like someone thinking about himself at all times, and the other is that he wants to eliminate a hidden danger. After all, let Phaegian continue to develop in this mode, and one day, Anbu will have problems. The next days will be relatively simple, all are cultivation, and then find 3 powerful guys to pick up ninjutsu and talent. Just living in this way, 2 years have passed. At this time, Shubai was already 25 years old. But Shubai seemed to be the same as when he first came here, with no change at all. At this time, his 2 sisters were also pregnant. How about Madara? Have you thought about a name for my 2 nephews? Shubai also looked at Madara with a joke on his face. Facing Shubai's joking, Madara blushed. The names have been chosen, one is Uchiha Shisui, and the other is Uchi Akshuin. Madara also stammered. After hearing Ma's words, Shubai almost didn't squirt out the tea from his mouth. At this time, Uchiha Ling, who was sitting on the side, also looked uneasy. You know, Uchiha Ling's blue 7-go jade writing round eyes originally became like this because of the eyes that absorbed Shisui. And Shubai's surprise was that he did not expect Uchiha Shisui to be Madara's child. However, Shubai didn't know who the parents were. What are the expressions of both of you? Could it be that the name I chose is not good? Madara looked at the two with a puzzled face. No, very good. I believe my nephew must be a ninja as powerful as his father. Shubai said directly. After hearing Shubai's praise, Uchiha Ling also nodded aside. You praise so surely, even a strong, handsome, confident, and domineering man like me would be shy. After Ban finished speaking, he found that Shubai and the others were gone. At this time, Shubai and Uchipolian came to Shubai's house quickly. Zishui, he was talking about Zishui. I remember that he was a contemporary of God Itachi. But now, I'm only 16 years old, and Fuyu is only 13 years old. Moreover, I also got a stop by accident. Water's eyes, Uchiha Ling said with an embarrassed expression. What do you mean by accident? Shubai looked at Uchiha Ling suspiciously, and said slowly. After I crossed over, I met the gods and ancients, and, combined with the abilities of the gods and ancients, I had a few chances to obtain props. I chose Susanoo, the eyes of reincarnation, the eyes of Shisui, the 8-door Dunjia. Wait, you mean, you have got the eyes of Shisui? That is to say, if the child of Madara is really Shisui, will it affect the eye opening in the future? Shubai also asked directly. After all, this is my nephew, if it is really affected, it is not fun. I don't know this. However, if it really affects, I can't return this eye. Uchiha Ling said with a helpless expression. Hearing this, Shubai was also a little helpless. Although Shubai could hardly remember what Zishui was like, Shubai still remembered his skills. If Zishui were not Madara's child, Shubai wouldn't care, but it's different now. Moreover, he has no way to blame Uchiha Ling. After all, if you let yourself choose, you would also choose Shisui's other gods. Then there is only one way now, and that is to let Madara dispel the thought. Yes, let him change his name. You can't use this name, that's it. After saying this, Shubai also left here directly and rushed to Maiden's house. Mara, I want to tell you something. I see, you are going to say the name, right? I have already decided, so let's change the name. After all, my child was very popular at first, and it is not good to choose such a popular name. So, I am going to name my children Uchiha Teruya and Uchiha Teruarashi. Madara also said directly. After hearing what Madara said, Shubai was also a little depressed. Originally, I thought of a solution for a long time before thinking of a solution. This guy changed his name before he could play the power of his mouth. Seeing Shubai leaving with a depressed face, Maiden was also a little confused. Didn't this guy say something to tell himself, why did he leave? I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.